intend to offend, we will offend. And if you have a delicate sensibility, click the X button in the corner, or if you're on a Mac, the red button in the left corner. Monty, welcome to the show of offending people.
Well, it never happened and I make shit up. For the last couple of weeks, everyone that has asked for a reading, apparently you're all from Scotland, from Hurley in Scotland. You all live the same lives. It's very metaphysical, because we're all one. And I can't read the Akashic Records. I didn't even have a card.
Meow. Welcome to another Farting Unicorn Productions Adventures into Comedy. I am once again joined by my comical co-host, Monty Dean.
G'day.
G'day, mate. How you doing?
I'm all right.
You and your non-Australian Kiwi accent.
Hang on. I'm getting a hosted spotlight of your video for everyone. Would you like to unmute your microphone to speak?
You're already
I did. Yeah, so I'll mute myself.
It came late.
There you go. And I'm being supported by my cat, who's meowing in the background going, I need attention. Like, this is going to go well.
Your cat's actually been silent the last couple shows.
I see. The wonders of gaffer tape. Or duct tape.
Wonders of gaffer tape.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. If you are listening on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or anywhere else and want to be a part of the show, you can look on the screen as our mystical production host, Robert, has pasted information there for how do you come and be a part of the Zoom room. This is where we take calls. We talk to the chat room here. We interact. If you are on any other place and want to interact with us in some way, shape, or form, come and join the Zoom room. Now, today is a comedy show. No readings for you. If you ask for a reading, Monty will be giving you a reading. Yeah, that's right. Now, we have a lot of piss to take out of the world today. We've had a presidential election. We've had all sorts of things go on. I mean, the Quatorians, nothing happened.
They're Roman.
The Quatorians, nothing happened. The military didn't take over. The baby raping lizard wizards are still out there. And guess what? You got taken by a psyop. I've been saying this for years now, but now is the time to come together and heal. We are here to take the piss out. I am not attacking you. I didn't call you a Q-tard. Wink, wink. I am saying come in here and help us take the piss out of the world today. We invite everyone from every dimension, time stream, and galaxy, universe who wants to make fun of this shit show to come here and help us make fun of this shit show today. Monty, who do we take the piss out of today?
Let's start with Congress. And I refer to her as drunk grandma, but Nancy Pelosi, where the first thing, it's 117th Congress of the United States, and the first in the first week of January, the first thing they do, not try and figure out what we can do with COVID or the stimulus package or the checks, which apparently has dropped $600. It was $2,000, now it's $1,400. But they decided they put in a bill for administration level of non-genderification of words. So you can't say mother, brother, sister, father.
Well, the last one that they just passed had all the pork in it. That was for $2 billion for useless projects.
Yeah,
but that's the corruption. That's the corruption of Congress.
Yeah, that's
drunk Gamma's got a whole bunch of drunk driving tickets. Okay,
he's got a gavel.
He's got a gavel, exactly. The thing is, drunk grandma's got friends. Okay? Yeah, she's got judges in her pocket.
Did you see some guy actually live streamed him taking a dump on her driveway?
No, I didn't watch that.
I think they probably scrubbed that from the internet. And then about a week later or 2 weeks later, some heathen spray painted her garage door. But it's interesting because it looks like they taped the brickwork because, terrorists are nice now. So the spray paint has a perfect line on the white thing. So they didn't spray the actual brickwork around it. So, and I'm sure there's no video footage of that and wasn't a mini false flag.
Yeah, because it was probably done by a Republican senator, because Mitch McConnell had his garage door spray painted too, and somebody defecated in his backyard, like in his porch.
Now, isn't it? There's a rumor that Mitch McConnell's Turtle Man, the famous
yes, he is. They've called him Turtle Man for quite some time.
Yes, I know. It's fascinating when you look at people and like, you look like a fish, and I'm sure it's DNA, alien DNA coming through. Where is your spirit animal a haddock?
Well, it's also from Kentucky.
Oh, well, now.
Okay.
I know a couple of people in Kentucky, and there's a great TV show about Kentucky called Justified.
Yeah. Yes, and there's a restaurant, a fast food restaurant from there.
Yeah, blue fry. You know why they're called KFC now? Because it's bad marketing to have fried in the title.
Yeah.
Kentucky which I find funny watching Stranger Things. It's 1984, but they're calling it KFC. I'm like, no. It was Kentucky Fried Chicken then, my friend.
Back then, it was a sit-down restaurant, too. It wasn't a fast food restaurant. Just like Arby's for the longest time was an actual sit-down restaurant with waiters and waitresses and everything.
Yep. We used to have Pizza Hut restaurants.
Yeah, actual restaurants. They were like actual restaurants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And it's interesting. There's a whole battle in humanity. Let's talk about the true things, the important things here, ladies and gentlemen. Does pineapple go on pizza?
Absolutely, pineapple does.
Yeah, I know.
It took me a while. It took me a while to build up to it, because I remember I must have been 9 or 10. And my two older brothers, 4 years older and 8 years older, and my oldest brother came home from the Navy and bought a pineapple pizza. I'm like, I don't like pineapple. I'm just shitting on it before I even tasted it. And then I ate a piece. I'm like, it's really not that bad. The ham and the pineapple and the bacon really do well. Shit, I'm an idiot.
yeah, and pineapple doesn't go on pizza. Yes, it does. That's why it's called Pizza Hut. It was actually like a Hawaiian hut, and they sold pizza, or sold. And I've looked up the history of where the Hawaiian pizza came from, and it's a German cooking show in 1953.
Right, and the key is, the pineapple chunks can't be too big, and you're not supposed to use pineapple out of a can. Okay. And the bacon bits add the crunch and the salt to it, and salt and pineapple go well together. And then the ham, it absolutely fits.
Well, that's why it's called Hawaiian, because on Hawaii they have pineapples and pigs or boar. So yeah, let's join these together. But people argue about it, so it's quite funny. Let's talk about the state of the economy. It's the pineapple that I have a problem with.
And jalapenos, yes. Jalapenos are a great add to it. And every now and then, if I'm adventuresome, I'll have the mild jalapenos, the yellow ones, and the spicy ones. But I'll make sure I tell them to do double pineapple.
Well, what I like now, this is the fun part of talking to the Galactic historian, ladies and gentlemen. When you're told a story from history, it's a 50-50 chance. It's like that could have happened, or it's a nice story and it fits. The first pizza apparently was a weapon.
No, I didn't ever heard of that.
Okay, well, the story, and also like the fun part, to get around it, there's multiple timelines, so anything is possible. Apparently, an Italian castle was under siege in the 1400s, and they've run out of everything, and so apparently they made a pizza base without knowing it was a pizza base, put everything on it, cooked it so it was piping hot, and then threw it at the enemy.
That doesn't sound right, because food was very, very lavish back then. Okay. Now, when it comes to pizza, bread, flat, common. Every culture's got something that's been rolled out some way, shape, or form. And sauce can be a variety of things. Example, when I went to Greece with my dad, we were eating Greek food. I'm like, I just want some American food. And he's like, all right, we'll go get a pizza. Guess what I got? Okay, the crust was like that thick and it didn't taste like pizza dough whatsoever. It was like a bread, like white bread rolled out that grew real thick, full of cheese that wasn't mozzarella. It was a hard cheese called casera cheese with a whole fried fish and head and tail on top of it.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah.
And no red sauce whatsoever. Cheese, bread, fried fish. That was
open your mind real wide now. I may explain Atlantis, or it's just humanity working at the same time, but I can make a connection between tacos, souvlaki's, and pizza.
Yes, anything you could fold the bread, we've all figured it out centuries ago.
Yeah, and now they're called wraps because it just makes, instead of having all these different things, so like just have a layer of bread or something. Like even like here, I'm not sponsored by Domino's, but they keep giving me free deals, so I keep buying them. But we have New York style pizza here, which is just like the size of a manhole cover or a person hole cover, and you have to fold it. There's a reason why they fold it. It's like because it's easier, because it's you're eating the side of a wing. So there you go. So I like, what are we going to take the piss out of today? Let's talk about food for 15 minutes and piss everyone off
and get them hungry.
Yeah.
Now I was watching a Food Channel special on pizza that said you can't put it down to one place, but that more than likely it actually came from China. Okay, pasta
like
came from
else.
China, like everything else. But everyone figured it out. Like supposedly the hamburger was created in 1880, but I guarantee you somebody had meat and bread, meat in between bread before that. Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, where sandwich comes from, the name sandwich,
Earl sandwich.
Yeah, Earl of Sandwich, while playing poker or cards, asked for a bit of meat between two slices of bread, and that's where the name sandwich comes from. The thing is, as we've said, like even Roman times, I'm sure someone's got two bits of yeast products and put it around something. It's not not a leap forward in humanity. Like, wow, why hasn't anyone thought of this?
Right. And Santos, my Sicilian DNA is starting to feel rather uncomfortable with this disrespectful talk of sacred pizza. Well, guess what? Sicilian pizza, they got that from the Greeks.
Like everything. Yeah, the Chinese invented everything, and the Romans stole everything. The Greeks became before the Romans. And
now, back to the whole pita bread, taco, foldable bread, whatever you want to call it. Okay, it was all about convenience. Okay, they didn't have Superman lunch boxes like we got today. Okay, so it had to have a convenience factor to it. You didn't bring knives and forks with you. You got a hunk of meat rolled in some cloth, if you were lucky.
Yes.
Okay, or they baked the bread around it so it was easy for you to carry, and it had some level of preservation factors to it. Now, pizza, and I was watching this pizza specialty, and every country has their version of it. Like you go to Korea, they have a completely different view of pizza. And I was watching a show where it was, India from the top of the Himalayas, middle of nowhere, trying American pizza for the first time or trying American food for their first time. And it was so funny to try them to figure out how to eat it, how to taste it, sniff it, and like, what is it?
Well, yeah, like you've got New York pizza. Like even in the movie FX, a great '80s film, if you want to, with Brian Brown in this Australian. But there's let's go get the best pizza in the world. Where's that? Sydney. But if you got Chicago pizza, which is like deep dish, where you have to go mining, and it's like it's the super soldier pizza of the baked good, because it's like this thick or something. Like it's a quiche, people.
It's not a quiche. I was just about to talk about the deep dish pizza. Robert, if you could pull up a deep dish image, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coming right
Oh,
up.
come on, Andrew. Come on, Andrew.
I did
give quiche a chance. You got to
It's
give
not.
cheese.
Quiche is eggs and milk. Okay, it has
Yeah, I know,
nothing to
yeah.
do with this. Okay.
Or actually, no. For a while there, it was unmanly to call it quiche, so it was egg and bacon pie.
Right. Egg and bacon pie. Now, personally, I am a deep dish all the way before any of all the other stuff's great. But for me, deep dish is the absolute best of the best of the best of the best of the best. Period.
Eric in chat.
That's not even Robert. That's not even deep. Look up Giordino's.
You're talking to a California boy.
I know.
Look, he wants to grow up and be a deep dish.
Robert, go to my Facebook page, a private page, and go down, and you'll see the whole deep dish versus New York flat, and you'll see some really good images there. Chicago style deep dish, and it's like literally like that thick, and they fill it full of sauce. It's all the fillings on it's a reverse pizza. Sauce and the cheese are on the top. The sauce is on the top under the cheese with another layer of bread. Personally, it is so filling. Like, I'm a big boy and I can pound some food down. I know. The first time I had deep dish, I was there with some friends. They're like, seriously, you won't be able to eat more than 2 slices. I'm like, fuck you. No, you know who the fuck I am?
Challenge accepted, my friend.
End of the first piece, I'm like, I got the second piece. And halfway through that second piece, I'm like, oh shit. I just realized I ate like a half a pound of fucking sausage. And like a pound and a half of cheese and a piece and a half. Oh fuck. I'm like, getting some drinks going. They're like, yeah, you gotta finish that second piece. I finished the second piece, but I was a cocksucker and I said, I will do 3 or 4. No. And even like an hour later after we were drinking and going around, I'm like, I could eat another piece fast. It just got to get out of my stomach. No.
No. The body does tell you with it. It just reminds me of that a Simpson episode where Homer is in an eating contest. And he's got to have, a pound of steak or whatever. And the writers were really, it's a very simple joke. And it's like, okay, gentlemen, 3, 2, 1, and go. And Homer starts buttering a small roll. And Bart goes, don't eat bread now. Exactly. That's just filler. That you've worked in the restaurant business. Yeah. It's like, there's a reason that in bars you have salted peanuts. It makes you thirsty. So bread rolls and everything else like that, that's to fill you up. So yeah, that's why your portions are this big. Mm-hmm. And it costs $18.
Andrew, I got Lou Malnati's Chicago's favorite deep dish YouTube video pizza.
That's a good one. I don't know if YouTube will give us a video strike if we play it though.
No, I don't want to try it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you could find a shot of it and pause it and then show that.
Let's just scroll through and see what we find.
There you go.
Well, that is a commitment.
Yes. Okay. So you basically get it. It comes in a pan, gigantic. Okay, exactly. Okay. Now, for those of you that out, the crust is very thin. It's not thick enough. It's barely enough to hold it together. So it's not thick at all. Then the outside of the crust, they put Parmesan. They put butter on the outside of the pan and coat the outside of the pan with Parmesan cheese. So it hardens to the side of the bread and makes like a cheese armor to the outside of the bread, which makes it holds itself together.
So yes, if you're looking, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to have a coronary, just have one of these. That just looks like a heart attack waiting to happen. Look at that.
Now, I think it's Giordino's in Chicago will sell them to you frozen. On my Facebook homepage, there's actually a link to actually go and get frozen pizzas, frozen deep dish delivered to you.
Okay. There's actually an episode in MASH where there've been because MASH went for 11 years and the Korean War went for 3. So I don't know how long they've been over there in Korea doing their thing. But they started craving this one, Eddie's in Chicago, and this whole thing of like, we need 3 pounds of ribs and sauce. And the joke is they keep forgetting the coleslaw.
Yes, they keep forgetting the coleslaw. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so they have to sort of bribe everyone because they know about it. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'll take 2 pounds. It's like, and what about the coleslaw? we forgot the coleslaw. You forgot the coleslaw.
Yeah. And Santo, you say you call that lasagna. No. There is no layered pasta. Lasagna is pasta layers. There's no layered pasta at all. Cheese at the bottom, sausage, meats, vegetables, cheese, sausage, meat, vegetables, cheese, sauce.
Yeah, basically a deep dish pizza is 3D and a lasagna is the multi-spectrum layer of reality.
Right. A pizza bread bowl, yes. Good way to put it. Again, the crust is extremely thin. And when they burn that Parmesan on the side with the butter, like I said, it's like a cheese armor to the outside and what keeps it stiff enough. And the thing with deep dishes, when they keep lifting it up and they show you the dripping cheese, that's considered the great factor of how well loved deep dish is. If when you do it, it's the cheese, how long the cheese will draw for.
Well, there you go. So yeah, I know we started out trying to take the piss out of government, but I hope you're all hungry now. I know I am. I don't know. Is deep dish pizza good for breakfast?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What did you spend all your money on? Food? What did you get? I bought one deep dish pizza. It lasts me 7 days. You have to mine through that thing. Easy.
Okay. Now,
yeah,
I want to finish my second to tell you about my second deep dish story. So I'm in Chicago. We did Gigino's the first time, and my friends like there are like a dozen other places that do it, and I'm like, so you guys do this all the time? You're like, fuck no, we're Chicagoans. We barely touch deep dish. I'm like, what? Seriously, we do things like Italian beef and all these other things. I'm like, huh? And like it's like. It's really just the tourists who come to Chicago for the deep dish pizza. And I'm like, no way. And yeah, so they took me to this other place and you could buy it by the slice and it was nowhere near that quality. And then a couple days later, I had Italian beef, which just blew my mind, which is like pieces of prime rib thinly shaved with like jalapeno peppers and green onions in this au jus sauce. That's put on a piece of bread on a like a special hoagie bread they make, and then the whole thing is dipped into the sauce, so the bread absorbs the juice, full of cheese. Oh my God, this was to die for. And then we went and sampled several others, and I began to truly see the art of deep dish. And there's really only 3 competitions there: Giorgino's, Luminati's, and I forgot what the other one was.
Illuminati's.
Yeah, Illuminati. It's an actual real Italian name. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Illuminati, it means light and all that. It's that
no,
whole
his name
flipping
is his name is Lou, and his last name is Minotti.
So he doesn't work for the Dark Lords. Okay,
no. Just checking. Dark Lords of Pizza, maybe.
Tell me when he's ill, Lou. Minotti.
Hello, I am Lou Manati. Thank you.
Exactly.
Come to the dark side. Join the cabal. We have deep dish pizza.
And he has a brother named Bill Illuminati.
Now, this has got nothing to do with that other pizza stuff that happens in Washington. Completely different.
Yeah, totally different.
Yeah.
Now,
allegedly,
to finish up the pizza, the deep dish pizza. So there's 3 that compete at this highest layer of pizza art. Now, I have eaten pizza all over the world. I enjoy New York pizza. It's not my favorite. Usually it's a little greasy, but then I got experiencing true California pizza.
Ooh.
Now, who is a Californian in the chat room that really understands the art of California pizza?
Has it got weed on it?
I've had weed on many pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is an exploration into Mexican and Asian food combined onto a pizza.
Oh, nice.
Like the first time I had smoked salmon on a pizza, I'm like, what the fuck? No way.
Yeah.
No way. It absolutely mixed. Okay? It absolutely mixed. And then or like the shrimp roll from on a fucking pizza. Shit like that. Like the fusions of ideas that came, my mind was assaulted. I'm like, You are breaking the sacred art of pizza, but it works.
But then you go the other way where you've got a margarita, which is just a sprinkle of herbs on cheese and sauce and a base.
Right.
Like, you mean a
Which
cheese
is so
pizza?
basic,
No, it's a
which is-
margarita.
it's basic. It's like exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
and then Zeva. That's right. Until you go to Koreatown. Oh my god. Oh my god. And then you're like, whoa. Like the first time I had barbecued ribs on a pizza.
With the bone?
No, they peeled it off the bone.
I was
Or
well, yeah.
brisket that or pulled pork. I had a pulled pork calzone. Like a calzone is just, pizza flopped over on top of itself. But a pulled pork calzone. Oh my god, it was to die for.
Yeah, here in Australia we have, I'm sure it's globally, but we have the meat lovers pizza, which is basically just flesh.
Yes, layers of flesh.
Yeah, and if your body needs, like, if you don't bring it up when you're talking to the vegans about the 40 grams of protein, but you could like you could have a slice of a meat lovers pizza and you'll be back right up. But it's like sometimes it's a commitment where it's like you can taste the flavors of the meats fighting each other.
Exactly. And Casey Don, dang it, shrimp and clams on a pizza sounds heaven. Well, it's called Pizza Del Mar or Fruits de Mar, like if you go to a high-end restaurant and you have the fruits of the ocean. So we're talking clams, scallops, squid, octopus, all in a classic wine white sauce layered with cheese, and it's in a medium thick shell. Oh my god. Yeah. Lobster, all that. Yeah, it was wow.
Yeah, and being unemployed with hardly any money, I'm happy with toasted cheese, which is, you just toast the bread, put some cheese, melt the cheese on it, and bam, you've got a meal.
So is there pizza flavored louche? No. No, it's louche flavored louche.
Yeah, louche is louche.
Right.
Now, what I find funny, if we can slide into the silliness of all, I'm sure someone is going to start going, this is cultural appropriation. Have you heard that term?
Absolutely, it is. 100%.
Yeah,
which is oh, look at that, Robert. Thank you.
Ooh. I wouldn't eat it. That looks nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I find funny, where it's like, I mean, at what degree do we want to go? Because Islam came up with the numbers, and so we can't use numbers. We have to go back to the Roman numerals. And of course, that would work out for you when you're talking about fake Roman numeral time. But I don't. Have you ever tried to? Is it 42? What's one of the? No, 47. I think that's the really hard one, where it's three. No, not M's, because 50's D, I think, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. You have to learn your Roman numerals so you know what year the BBC shows were made in.
I that shit all passed out of my brain a long time ago.
Yeah.
I know a VII is 7, IV is 4, up to 10. Anything after that, I don't know shit.
Well, that's right. Yeah, 47, I think, is L D, because M is 1,000. LD VII. Because no, 8. 9 is usually an I. It's like 9 is actually IX. Yes. And 10 is X, and so 8 is VIII. Yeah,
VIII.
Yeah, so 48 is really annoying. So this year is XXL. It just rolls off the tongue.
It sounds like a pizza size.
Mega
XL, exactly.
Because if you watch Ben-Hur, you can see it's written it's XXX whatever or L thing, whatever, but he just, to save time, he goes number 42 because it's English. So I mean, in Latin. So if you could number 47, that's a mouthful.
So people are asking me in private message, please stop private messaging me, everyone. I can't watch everything. But do they have pizza in Off-World? Yes, they do. Okay.
Yeah, you probably find if we're the center point of creation and everything else like that, any idea that's here would be at least tried off world, especially if we're repeating ourselves over and over again.
Right. Like chicken soup. Does every world have chickens? Not necessarily, but they have ground avians, ground fowl that are similar in way, shape, or form that are easily cooked into it. Okay. And then, the blue chicken stew. Exactly. We make fun of the blue chickens all the time.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Moving along, there are common things. Bread is everywhere. Okay. Why do vegans eat bread?
Because it's everywhere. I don't know why. If it's yeast, isn't it technically a living?
Technically, it's alive, but they don't realize that you murder it when you bake it.
Yeah, I've had a moment like, I'm a vegan. Then take off your Doc Martens, you idiot.
Yeah, why are you wearing that leather jacket?
Yeah, you gothy turd. As we've discussed, there's two types of vegans. There's the person that decides, I want to get healthy, I'm going to learn a diet where I don't eat meat and I can replace my protein for. Then there's the political idiots. It's like, I'm a vegan, I'm also extremely sick and tired.
Yes, and constantly tell people how they should believe and how they should react.
Yeah, what's the joke? You'll never have someone. You never have to ask someone a vegan if they're vegan. They'll tell you.
Robert, I want to make an official thing. From now on our Thursday shows, we're going to make a count for the number of almost dead vegans calling into the show. Okay, and the number of times per month I have to tell vegans to eat 40 grams of protein. Reminding, I'm not telling you to eat meat. I'll tell you to stop being a shitty vegan.
Yeah.
Okay? We're going to start a count for the year.
Didn't we come up with a character, the vegan whizzes or something, or vegan demons? That's right.
Vegan demons, yes.
They're they've only like a +1 skill level. They're very tired and weak, so they don't really attack you. They're more of annoying. It's like, go away.
Yes. They're like lettuce. They're like lettuce heads of lettuce rolling around you
with that high pitched whine.
So Albert is like, how about the veggies? Do veggies retain more life force than Come on, Albert, you've been listening to me a long time. How many times have I said that salad you're eating is more alive than that dead piece of fish? If you were to plug in the life force meters to the salad, it would register. You plug it into the dead piece of fish, it won't.
See, there's a nice sketch we can have. So, like, this is what a vegan is doing when eating a salad. Gum, gum, gum. And here's what actually is happening. And you have the screaming, like,
screaming, exactly.
There was an ad down here in Australia. I can't remember what for. So the commercial didn't work. But there was a guy on a bench and he's using a knife to peel an orange. And every time he cut into the orange, there was this high-pitched scream. It's like, yeah!
I know the ad. They did that here in the States too.
Oh, yeah, it's a good ad. So, let's get back to the Gubbermint, which sounds like a flavor. Goobermint. The unfortunate ladies and chaps in the National Guard, because the photo op was done, they all had to sleep in a garage or outside in 30-degree Fahrenheit outside overnight. So, that's your leadership right there.
They had sleeping bags that are cold weather bags. They just didn't show you that.
Yeah.
I had two brothers in the military. The first thing they get is boots and a sleeping bag, all right?
So you think disrespecting military forces is a good idea?
The military is disrespected from the day they are disrespected from the day you join them. And they break your ass down.
What I find...
There was a lieutenant who said, your ass is sleeping in the garage, and I don't care if you could go over there and sleep. A lieutenant told him that, not Congress, not Senate. The assholes in the military said it.
All right. Well, it's been used to point out that these people are idiots.
You got to know military. You got to know military culture.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm a coward. I watch war movies, but I'm not going to war. I've seen how that happened. Maybe it's a past life of World War One. Like, fuck that, because World War One is really, really intense. Yeah, I've gone blank.
Blank man. You
What?
need pedantic man to help you out. Get
Oh, yeah.
paperwork to your brain.
Well, yeah, my superpower is hindsight. I can really piss people off. You shouldn't have done that. Well, fucking yeah.
No,
Yeah.
your two superpowers: hindsight and gloat.
Aha! Oh God, it's that prick Captain Hindsight again.
Yes.
No, well, yeah. The problem with veterans now, I've got to clarify that because it's like I've got a problem with veterans. No, the veterans get treated like utter shit. The thing is, it's been happening and back as far as Rome and probably even before that.
Every country treats their veterans like shit.
Yeah, but because I've got a fascination with Rome, that's been an issue of how we treat the legionnaires that have done their 20 years and they've full citizens. And it's like that they treated their veterans like. I can kind of understand it now because the Dark Overlord scumbag, shitbag, whatever they are, you don't want military trained people to figure out that they were screwed and they'll rise up and take back their government.
What Rome did. Interruption number 1. Keep that as a score.
No, I think I finished.
For everyone who's in the background, we laugh every now and people put into the comments, Monty, stop interrupting Andrew. My English is not my first language, and your accent is too much. I'm like, no, it's not. So we made a joke. We're gonna have an interruption counter going.
What accent are you talking about there, son? I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, calm down, sit down, and have a cup of tea.
Yeah, put on a shrimp with the Barbie.
Oh, no, I don't like seafood. Shut up.
Exactly.
Yeah, can you remember why you interrupted?
No.
So a quick list of what the government has done.
I remember why I'm interrupting now.
Oh,
as I'm interrupting.
Interruption
number 2.
Yeah, go ahead.
Rome. So they did figure out what to do. Whenever a soldier finished his terms of service, they gave him 58 hectares of land. And somewhere they conquered.
Well, yeah, that's how Rome's kind of like the Borg of the ancient world, where you join it, assimilate, or die. I'm like, oh, we'll try this Roman idea.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, once you got, because apparently, like when Rome retreated from England, they kind of stayed Roman for another 200, 300 years.
No, not really. They dissolved from within. They rotted like a piece of meat outside with maggots everywhere. Rome disintegrated itself.
Yes, but once they left England, it wasn't purely Rome, but there's so much social structure and everything else like that. It took a long time for the idea of Rome to leave.
Rome was done in 476 AD when the Visigoths and I forgot the other great Germanic general that invaded, and it was done at that point. Yeah, and it was done before that. And the popes that were installed there, they literally drove the country broke until all the people left and went to Byzantium.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that Rome left England or the British Isles before that, and the English still stayed Romanesque. They were
already Romanized 200 years before that.
That's my point. They still kept the idea. They did it by themselves, but they didn't start, going back to painting blue on their face and wearing kilts.
Well, that was not a big thing, actually.
I know
much later, but
yeah,
the thing is, it was the religious indoctrination that kept Rome, and that's why Rome went to Byzantium and gained Constantinople and became Christian. They realized empires don't last; religions do.
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing about now, where the whole thing about DC is under martial law, and it's the corporation compared to the republic, and you can't have Donald Trump can't be the president of the republic while he's in a foreign land, and blah 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 blah. And so anyone who wants to get in a conspiracy world, maybe wait a couple of months, because it's gone a really bit batshit crazy.
Yeah, it's gone some batshit crazy for a while, Give it some time where the real researchers come out and who are following their own plan and not the plan. That makes no sense.
Well, yeah. I didn't see, the one I found a positive from watching The Last Jedi is tell me the plan before I can trust it.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me the plan before I can trust it.
Oh, nice, Robert. I like that one. Apparently, they've changed that now to common error. It's like, oh, that's so scientific. What year is it? 50 BC. What does BC stand for? Before Christ. Who was Christ? I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, no effing clue.
Yes. What I find interesting now, it used to be BC and AD. And then I think the scientific angle of like, well, that sounds a bit religious. We can't have that. And so now it's common error. They call the birth of Christ a common error. Like that's kind of insulting.
Well, that's the European world trying to own world culture.
Yeah.
Global appropriation.
Well, I mean, history's kind of whitewashed, but it's from the victors and, the Caucasian, the English. I mean, here in Australia, we've got Australia Day coming up. And of course, it's a complete bun fight where it's Invasion Day, but it's Australia Day and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, can we have a treaty, heal the wound and move on together? But I get told to shut up.
You can't.
No, what the fuck for?
Exactly. What the fuck for? Exactly.
What's wrong with you, son? We have to oppress the natives because we feel inferior.
It's our birthright to oppress them.
Yes, I do. I don't know if it was created. And I hope I'm not upsetting the First Nations of the United States, but there was a prophecy that the white man would turn up and ruin things. I think someone just remote viewed and was like, oh, shit. Better say it this way. Yes. Oh, one common thing about, but the Aboriginals were fighting each other. Yeah, and when the English turned up, they stopped doing that. They formed together and tried to fight off the invaders. And unfortunately, they lost. And we're still, in a way, still stuck in that war because there was an invasion. There were battles. The Aboriginal people lost. Usually the next step is a treaty. Now, New Zealand's a good example where the Maoris stopped the English and the English has gone, the natives have they actually invented trench warfare and really big sticks and they kicked the living shit out of us. Maybe we'll talk to these chaps and write a treaty. Now, before
people invite them to join the military.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I say, come and join us. You'll be wonderful in Zululand. Now people say, but the treaties were broken. That's not the bloody point. Like, if we have a treaty now, I don't think the government will break the treaty. People will notice.
Yeah, you got a point. Treaties now. Well, no, we break treaties all the time.
Of course, yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Like, the fun part of hanging out with Andrew, it's like, yeah, we're still the fucking same, aren't we? Mm-hmm. We haven't really same cycle over and over again. But there is that difference where, like, the term the Great Awakening, the energies are right. There is they're trying to suppress us, and the general public is sort of dumbed down over decades, nearly a century of education, and yet there's all of us where we have a connection to a higher self, source, flying spaghetti monster, whatever you want to call it.
Flying deep dish pizza monster.
Yep. The mighty dish. We may go to the mighty deep dish into the sky. And we've got critical thinking. And so, remember, we're ruled by psychopaths and run by idiots. And I think that would upset the psychopaths. It's like, you fucking moron. But there's still this pushback where, the universe leans to justice, kinda. This is where you say something.
It does lead to justice, but justice is wholly interpretable by the observer. One person's justice is not justice. Okay.
Well, yeah. This kind of helps me where when the fix was in on an election night, it's like, because I still had this idea of the power have picked this person, but they stole the election and blah blah blah. But I knew in like my heart, it was like, no, Biden's in. By that, it's like, bang, Biden's in. That was the decision, and that's what they're going with, and that's why we're still here. Well, that's why we're here now, and I think everyone else is sort of have to realize that. But in the bigger picture, it's part of the awakening. It was like, everything is fucked. Technical term, legal term. For me to get around that, but remember, you're in a free will universe, in a free will galaxy, in a free will solar system, on a free will planet. Why do bad things keep happening?
Free will.
Free will. Yeah, why don't you like this band? Free will. Like just stop trying to control me. See, that's part of the leftards. You've got also anyone that's left leaning. You're okay because you probably see Antifa and go, no, stop that. And they're having fun, aren't they? Antifa. Those useful idiots are now just idiots.
They're having as much fun as the Qatarians.
Yes. Well.
They're all like German red shirts, brown shirts. Sorry, after the revolution, useless.
I remember a meme where it's someone took a photo from the original Star Trek, and it's Captain Kirk pointing up to a ridge or something like that, and he's talking to three guys in red shirts. And the meme is, now go dig 3 graves, and I'll tell you later why.
Exactly.
Because that's just the wonder of television. You've got all the different colors, and so the security team usually is red, or the soldiers, and you have to have people die in the story to build tension, and it is always someone wearing a red shirt. And so if you're an extra in Star Trek and you're wearing a red costume,
you're done.
You're fodder.
You're dead before the first commercial.
Yes, but it moves the story forward. So, thank you for your service. Also, I'd like to point out, if I see another Bernie Sanders mitten meme, I am going to burn reality down.
You're getting upset at the mitten meme.
Well, yeah, like socialism, we have mittens, and it's I love those mittens. Like, yeah, cool, but everyone's done it. Like, it's just I've seen.
Cheers, everyone! I'm having a Guinness.
Oh, he's going Irish, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen Doctor Who one. I saw Bernie sitting in Davros's chair. That's kind of creepy. Garbage have done one. One Division, everyone's done one where like just Bernie won't go away.
Well, he should have won. He should have beat Trump, but no, Sniffer, white evil Sniffer got in.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you think if Bernie runs again, anyone's going to believe him? Because it's like, you've done this twice, Bernie. I've run a good race. Thank you for the donations. No refunds. I'm going back to one of my many houses. Right. He did that last cycle.
Well, I doubt he'll run again. If he does, it's because he's found some new young buck to attach his name to pass on the torch of quitting.
Hopefully AOC, yeah.
Exactly.
But this election cycle, he had a heart attack, and that's not a good look if you want to run a country. It's like he's already had a heart attack, and I mean, even Biden, who's 78, he looks like great granddad. He's walking around like he's an extra from The Living Dead.
Yeah, he's walking around like he's got a load of turd in his pants.
Yeah. He was Moses's kindergarten teacher. He's been around for a while.
Sometimes we just go off the rails, buddy.
Oh yeah. Oh, and did you? One thing there's a rumor the inauguration was filmed and blah blah blah. Well, if they're that paranoid that the MAGA army will destroy them, that's possible.
It had nothing to do with the MAGA army. It was a show. It was a show of force.
Yeah, but even if it was pre-recorded and then shown,
it was live. It was live because it had to be a ritual of live. It's actually written in the Constitution. It has to be done on that day, on that time, live. Can't be done behind the scenes. Remember, we've talked about the actual magical ritual that's there. Remember the American Super Bowl where they had Madonna come out as freaking ISIS?
Yeah.
Okay. It was just like that.
Babylon B released an article. Joe Biden is in starting diplomatic relations with ISIS. Now, speaking of rituals and crazy batshit fucking whatever's going on, Pence was handed a coin, wasn't he? At 3:15 in the morning after the Electoral College. What was all that about? It's like, was that his validate your parking, sir? Or
No, one side had a warrior's face on it, and the other side had a Medusa emblem on it, which is a symbolization of the Black Pope.
oh,
Right.
so
Which is essentially a religious terminology of activating the secret societies. So Pence's secret society chain was pulled.
me and my visualization brain, like, oh,
Exactly. his
So
chain was pulled, and that
which
essentially
societies-
says you are in service to the Knights of Malta.
oh,
And the
Knights of Malta.
and he's like in 7 of those 7 or 8 of those groups, a very high levels secret society, and publicly part of those secret societies.
I'd like to just announce my commiserations to the Fly. I thought he had a chance this election cycle. Unfortunately, he didn't get through. So, if it is a he, I can't spot sexes of flies at that distance.
Basically, the coin said he cannot allow Trump to do what he's doing. The ritual must go on. And that's why his secret society chain was pulled. He had to be a part of the inauguration ceremony to pass on the magical torch.
Now, is that connected to Hollow Earth? Like the orders came down from on high of like this has to happen?
The surface rituals are definitely influenced by Hollow Earth, but they have been developed over the centuries to exactly that. Yeah, there's the picture of the coin. There's a picture of a Hispanic warrior on one side and Medusa on the other.
What is Mr. Pence thinking? What the fuck is this?
No, he knows exactly what it means at that moment. He's
fuck.
like, oh, fuck, my chain's been yanked.
Oh, geez. I remember 47 years ago, I masturbated in a coffin. Well, I guess I have to do something now.
No, it's a direct order from the Black Pope, is what that is.
Who is the Black Pope? Is it because there's a rumor it's the actual Pope now, or is it someone behind the scenes?
Black Pope is in Israel and always has been in Israel.
Yeah. See, that from the conspiracy world, if I hear Jews one more fucking time, it's the Jews. It's the Jews. Like, I know some Jews, and no, they're like a patsy in all this as well. They're fake Jews. Yeah. See, Trumpism. Because it's just a small group of people that infiltrated. But like, if you look at the history, they blame the death of Christ on the Jews. Like, well, the Italians nailed him to a tree. Not that I've got anything against the Italians or Romans, but it's interesting that the whole to hide behind and get away with what they're doing, they hide behind it's Zionism. Thank you, said the difference between Zion, well, the spelling, and I think Zionism is the breakaway prick cult. Thanks, Jimmy. I'm not going to repeat that.
So I want to talk more about the coin. The coin is a magical symbol, direct order from the Black Pope. Black Pope basically gave Trump a direct order saying that all of his religious connections to the secret societies would be excommunicated if he didn't follow these orders. And that also means everyone that's supporting him too.
Yeah, so in a way, he loses energy. I mean, there's physical side of things where we lose all these perks and blah blah blah. And...
No. Excommunication means he's removed magically from all the rituals, and his name is scraped off the wall like they did in Egypt, as if he never existed. Remember, these rituals are about to keep continuing this long-lasting, everlasting government life force.
Yeah, it was Pence, Robin. So he would be airlocked if we're talking expansed.
Yeah, he'd be airlocked. Airlocked and erased.
Yeah, no, and that's what they want to try and do with Trump. Like, no, I don't think you can erase Trump. He's such a catalyst and a figure, and he's part of the timeline, and especially the mainstream media. Because I don't watch it. Are they still talking about Trump? I mean,
they're trying not to. Yeah. But they're realizing ratings are going to suck.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting as well, where no one there's hardly anyone. I can't generalize it too much. No one really likes Biden because of the amount of crap he's done in 48 hours. He got rid of the Keystone Pipeline, where I think up to 42,000 jobs have just been lost, and that the knock-on effect with that.
Those jobs are already slated to be lost. You can't blame everything that's coming on Joe Biden's executive actions. Those were already coming.
Yeah, but the workers didn't know that.
Yeah, they did. It's been COVID. And when they didn't sign the bill and they let it pass, guess what happened? They lost all their protections. Okay? Trump was still in office then.
Well, yeah, that's the other fun part of like, and an example is Bill Clinton asked about, I want to know about aliens, and he was told you don't have clearance for that. I'm sorry, what?
You do too much cocaine.
Yeah.
We can't trust you with the truth.
Stop sniffing. Why? I've said it before. I remember Robin Williams on the last week of the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, where it was after the election but before the inauguration. It's like, yeah, well, Bill's in, and then Robin said, "You bet all that stuff about womanizing." Is like, yeah, even back then, it wasn't something new. It's just half of the course for the Clintons.
So Sean is saying, we've been saying the script sucks, but the script is pretty good. No, it's not.
No, it's fucking horrible.
It's horrible.
It's like, oh, they're repeating everything. It's, we've seen this before, and yeah. Oh, did you know that Donald Trump actually had a red button on the desk? I think the resolution desk or whatever desk in the Oval Office, and he would press someone. What's that button for? And Trump goes, "I'll just show you." And presses it, and someone would bring out a Diet Coke on a silver platter. And someone pointed out, yeah, Biden got rid of that because if Hunter was in there and said it brought Coke, he would keep pressing it. Yeah.
But you got to realize the red button also brought a Big Mac, and that Donald Trump every night ate a Big Mac from McDonald's and had a temporary McDonald's installed in the White House. Okay.
Yeah, I was walking somewhere and the advertising in McDonald's, because it's in great. You get them when they're kids. That's how you do it. And I love the idea of McDonald's. I don't like what actually they sell, but the idea of it, that looks awesome. But it's not food. I'm like,
right. And I remember when it was food.
Watch the movie. It
tasted good. Now it's like, what is this?
Yeah. Watch the movie The Founder, and starring Michael Keaton, where it basically, like anything, it's similar to what happened to the guy who invented Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. Some honest, brilliant human being, the McDonald brothers, created. They revolutionized. They created fast food because they had an assembly line, and you could get a burger in 30 seconds and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But they weren't cutthroat and a complete bastard, and so they didn't really grow. But the founder, the big McDonald's guy, McDonald's, its success is actually real estate, not the actual selling of food, because that's how they own the land and then they lease and you just find out the founder is a complete bastard, and it's like, well, now I hate McDonald's even more because it's just a corrupt Ponzi scheme using real estate to benefit the company. It's like, we've got this new rap. Yeah, but you still suck. I'm sorry.
Do you know that McDonald's has its own university, Burger U?
That sounds like an insult.
It does. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Now, McDonald's could very easily change their food to real food again. But the thing is, they so hyper invested in a logistic chain that will only provide not real food.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want buns to last 90 days, and bread was never meant to last 90 days.
Yeah, here in Australia, they actually promote 100% Aussie beef. The thing is, that's the name of the company. It's not actually the content of the meat. And in the movie, they had like real milkshakes or thick shakes, but then they to save money and all that other logistical stuff, it went to powdered and everything else. Like, and yeah, it is kind of fascinating how that just. Oh man! Also, did you see that someone compared Kamala Harris on Inauguration Day as Grimace?
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Now, Galactic Historian, before we go to our break, if we're still having it.
Yes, we are.
What the hell is Grimace? He was invented to sell the blueberry shake, but is he supposed to be a living blueberry, or what the hell is Grimace?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, there you go. See, the mystery.
A character created to sell Happy Meals.
Well, yeah, crappy meals. So yeah, it's the Hamburglar. Yeah, well, we know what he does, and the way that the Simpsons take the piss out of fast food with the Krusty Burger. where when Homer's Krusty and that guy's stealing all the burgers and beats him to the inch of his life. Yep. Stop it! He's already dead.
Yes,
that's when the Simpsons
now
was funny.
I want to have my blue chicken moment. We're going to be having a deep fried blue chicken show in the future.
Oh yes, tasty, and we will bring the coleslaw.
It'll be blue coleslaw too.
Oh, well, not like that green crap like in The Last Jedi. Yeah.
All right, everybody, we are going to instill a break. This is something Monty and I agreed to some time ago, but now we're actually implementing it. So Robert is going to queue up a little video for you guys to watch, and we will be back in exactly 5 minutes. Do not run away from us. Come back as we have more entertainment for you. I'm muted. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Here we are, second half of the comedy show. For all of you that have maintained being here, we're going to say, go ahead and raise your hand if you want to have a conversation with us. So click on that participants button. Hit that raise your hand button. We have an incredible, adventuresome one person, Panamera Keynes, who I know very well from Boca Raton, Florida. I believe she is there right now, or in New York. Robert, we are going to pick Tony first because she's an incredibly fun person to talk to. She was on the Egypt tour with us, and I have a lot of respect for her. So, Robert, unmute Tony.
Tony, come on.
Tony.
Signal to unmute.
Come on. She's in the background, in the bathroom. Forgot she raised her hand. Come on. You can do it. We believe in you. You can unmute. You can unmute Tony.
She will fly because she's blind. Anyway,
we can come back.
Hi, g'day. It's the bloke from Ipanema. So that's the fun thing about the Australian accent. Just like I want to learn Spanish to really upset people. El momento, por favor. What the hell is he talking about?
All right, my unmute function. Oh, there, Rolling Earth. You're on with Andrew and Monty.
Rolling Earth, are you there?
I'm rolling.
Hi, where are you calling from? Where are you calling from?
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Welcome to the show. Are we making you laugh?
You have.
Just once?
Thank you. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Roll over. See you next week.
What are we making you laugh about?
Well, apart from deep dish pizza, I guess the next thing to talk about is what do we have to look forward to in our dirty underwear washing line of political laundry?
Nothing. It's all done. All the conspiracies are there. Everything's been made. All the conspiracies have come true.
Except one.
Which one?
Well, we should start a betting pool. When will Kamala become president? And even if she doesn't, it could be like, yeah.
It'll be just like when everyone was betting when Pence becomes president. It's not going to happen. They will keep that clone alive. No problem.
Oh yeah, but see, but that will hold the anxiety and the tension, and they'll feed off it. It won't happen, but it's like they'll have the idea of like Grandpa Joe's going to drop any moment now.
Well, that's what they said about Trump.
Yeah, and then he does Led Zeppelin tours and does 3 rallies a day and jumps around like because he's on vitamins.
Yes. Now I want to say, Rolling Earth. You ask what's next. What hasn't happened?
Alien invasion.
No, Mexican border wall.
Oh yeah, he stopped that.
Okay. Stop the alien invasion. That's already happened.
Well, I mean, extraterrestrials, but...
War. We've had a 20-year war already. Afghanistan. Keep going.
But you got Hungary, Poland. Yeah, think globalist. Like if they've got their very old, decrepit, rotting puppet in the White House, how would you exert globalism from here?
You're not, because the CEO is changing the management style.
Yeah, I know. So that's why it's so weird. There's a pause of like, oh, wait a minute.
Right. And there are going to be a lot of Hollow Earth focus groups going, how can we get the herd of cows to eat our brand of meal that we want to give them?
Yeah, I'm sure one representative's like, can we make them happy for a bit? Like they've gone through trauma for a while.
Can we just test this happy cow thing for a little bit?
Yeah, I found this movie called Monsters, Inc. And it's really fascinating where laughter generates more than fear.
That'll never sell. The cows are meant to be angry. Okay. Ooh. So once again, Rolling Earth, what hasn't been done? All the conspiracies have been proven true. Would you say that?
Yeah. Well, We've had at least a lot of fun with it.
Well, I mean, all the conspiracies have come true. What's next?
Well, actually, I remember, Andrew, how long ago you've got a better... I'm a time traveler, so my memory's shit house. You're an historian. You have a memory. That's how it kind of works. That's the dynamic. I come up with something like, oh, yeah, that was April 17th. You actually put forward, let's try and even make up a conspiracy theory that is new. I think we came close once. Because everything, any other idea is just regurgitating the same thing and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what else to say. I mean, we could try making up a conspiracy that hasn't been done before.
Yeah, but
they've all, in the last 30 years, all the conspiracies that been played out, majority of them came true. Well, that means Hollow Earth definitely has a marketing issue.
As above, so below. Hollow Earth, Hollywood.
Right.
Why not?
So
Maybe we could get an Archduke killed in Europe. No, that's been done.
Twice.
Twice.
Twice. It was done.
It's funny watching Australian Anzac movies where when World War One broke out, and of course England asked for the Commonwealth because, you know, thousands of men are dying because it's industrial war, but they referred to World War One at the start of it as a European civil war, and then they just dragged everyone else in.
So Lost Sheep is saying the conspiracy in your pants hasn't come true. Yes, it has.
Why do you think we have a 5-minute break now?
Yeah, exactly. You just don't remember it. You've been sheared.
Well, in the conspiracy world, are we going to see, like, what can you sense, feel, whatever language you want to use? How are they going to cover up the shocking storytelling of season 3?
By pretending it didn't happen.
So they're acting, once again, they're acting like 4-year-olds. Nah, that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to pretend like it didn't happen.
So all the statues of Trump get pulled down.
Are there any statues of Trump?
Oh, we could put them up real quick.
The metaphorical. Will the statues of Trump come down? Half of them will come down, but the other half will be in the MAGA people's front yards. So there'll be cheap reproductions, and the Trump statues will continue, just like American flags are held on people's doorways. You're going to see many MAGA people get instead of a baby Jesus in their front lawn, they're going to have a Trump statue. Or Trump lawn gnomes.
Like a fat Buddha Trump.
Yeah.
Just Buddha with a toupee.
So, honestly, brother, nothing new can happen. But I want to say this. We are in for a surprise.
Well, I was about to say, if something new happens, it will be on the positive side and work against the global narrative.
Not necessarily. You
looking...
could have the new CEO realize that, hey, these lizards had a really great apparatus and it's tuned to the perfection, and I don't need to fix it. I just need to make sure it's not skimming off the top anymore.
Thank you, Robert. But the problem is with the lizard operation, it got out of it looks like it got out of control where it wasn't controlled chaos. It's natural chaos. There's that sort of that schism sort of happening.
It was absolutely controlled chaos.
All right.
Come on, everything was a psyop the last 4 years. Okay, the way they hijacked the militias, the way they hijacked original researchers with fake Q researchers. You know, like the video you watched yesterday. Very important, because everyone that is a non-Q supporter who was an original researcher has absolutely been discredited by the Q-tards.
Yeah, I just because even if they have a small level revolution, they'll have plans for that. Basic thing could be martial law, because at the end of our lockdown here in Melbourne, you could actually feel the energy of the entire city of Melbourne just sitting there going, I am going to fucking do something. It's you
Right.
can feel like I don't know if it's a past life thing, because it's definitely not this life thing, but it generally felt like revolution. As to quote Nick Marsden from Pink Floyd, it got so bad we nearly said something. And you could just feel the energy of like, see, I don't see, I mean, sure, they probably have plans and not consequences, options when they go to that sort of thing, but I don't know. Mind you, just remembered, I don't know why, but Lady Gaga looked like that character out of the Hunger Games, so that's been fun in the conspiracy world.
Yeah, but that's nothing spectacular. That's really nothing spectacular. Listen, the Illuminati gave us a whole bunch of Super Bowls where they were middle fingering us in the face and saying we're alive and you can't do jack shit about it. Okay?
Yeah, I know that's part of the Great Awakening. I hope that's just not the awakening part. You're ruled by bastards. All right.
They're bastards. Now what?
Yeah.
We can't stop them being bastards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you do the inner work, and then you have, I can understand that, millions of people protesting peacefully for months, because that will wear down the system. But have you tried to have a conversation with anybody these days?
Well, that's the whole point. Divisiveness and fractionalism and factionalism was created for the exact purpose. That's the controlled chaos. At the same time, discrediting the true researchers.
Yeah, like Darth Vader and his apprentice Star Killer. He doesn't care about credits, people's lives, or property. His goal is certain thing, and so he'll destroy planets to get to his goal of finding the enemies of the Emperor. And that's sort of the level. Yeah, because the management's been here for a long time. Like, there's been pole shifts and everything else like that. They're still there. Like, they could reorganize. Like, as I keep saying, if the planet was in trouble, she'll just do a pole flip and wipe everybody. And even if that happened, Earth is like, all right, let's start again. Try and do a little bit better this time.
Right. And, Earth is just fine through this. So I want to give one ray of hope. One ray of hope that a new conspiracy can come out. And that ray of hope has to deal with porn. Okay, we're reaching a point where virtual reality porn is beginning to become real, and it will take attention away. It will take massive amounts of attention away from political personalities.
Well,
and if you can't get them away from the VR porn to vote, they have lost.
That there is a Russian bodybuilder that married his sex doll.
Yes, there are like 25 Japanese who have married their sex dolls do.
Yeah. So that's good for humanity.
All right, Rollinger, thanks a lot for calling in.
Thank you.
All right. I believe Tony is back. Robert, let's bring on Tony.
All right, Tony, signal to unmute.
Hey, here we go.
Tony, you there?
Hello, Habibi. How are you?
Good. How you doing today?
We're doing wonderful.
Great. Are you in Boca Raton or are you in New York?
No, we're in, unfortunately, New York, where it's just a nightmare.
Yeah. Everything's closed down?
Correct. It's really depressing. I can see why people are very suicidal.
Hello, Habibi love. It's Patty in the background.
Hi, Patty. Hi, Patty.
We
How
miss
you doing?
you. We think about you. We see you in dream time and all the other wonderful stuff. And Egypt is calling us back again. I do see us in Egypt and doing sacred ceremony and talking to the birds and all that. So yes, absolutely.
Well, as soon as COVID allows it to happen, we'll see if we can make it happen.
We're thinking of dual citizenships in Greece. I don't know if United States. Well, what are your feelings about our country in the future?
So real quick, I have like 700 cousins in Greece, and COVID is rampant there right now, and it's killing off a lot of the old people and starting to really make a lot of young kids sick. And unless you really know people there that's what's going on, it's really bad there. And like they're not even allowing the priests on the streets on Thursdays. If anyone's Greek, every Thursday the priest walks on the street and he's there to take bribes. Okay, and it's an ancient tradition. Okay, an ancient tradition. They're not even allowed the priest on the street on Thursdays.
Well, that's intense.
Right. Okay. To the point, the priest can't take his bribes from the local villagers. Okay.
So,
Like,
so that
that's-
means you won't be
don't
going
go.
to Greece in February.
No, that won't happen. That won't happen. First of all, I can't get tickets to go there. It's still banned.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's too. Yes. So thinking about another type of, I don't know, just another, what am I thinking of? Again, America is not the place I really want to be anymore. And we just thought about going someplace else, but where you're going to go. And that's the unfortunate part.
Did you guys sell the restaurant yet?
How do you know? Yes.
We sold 2 businesses.
So we're sitting literally on money, but we can't get to
We're
it.
sitting on a lot of money, but we will call you because we have some issues that came up and people are getting greedy and coming after us.
Lawsuits.
So we're definitely we'll keep that for another time. But how do you see America for the future? Do you think we should, because we have, what are your feelings? What are your thoughts?
Well, first thing first, COVID's going to stick around well into 2023. So where you go has to have long-term viability for the next 2 years. And if you're not going to stay in New York and it's too depressed for you, you can rent anywhere in the country and not have to spend a tremendous amount of money. You could fly down to Texas where the COVID rules are really simple and find yourself a rental place in Corpus Christi or by the beach or in Houston and really live up life for a while.
Okay.
Okay, you go to New Orleans. There's many places you can go and rent. And if you've got a little bit of money saved up, those are easy living places.
Yes, unfortunately, that's why earlier I couldn't get to the phone. We're taking care of a bedridden mother. So we're into, diaper rash and bed sores and diapers. So that's the reason, we're just taking care of mom for now. But then we're free agents and we literally can travel the world. And that's the thing. America really won't be a place for us. We just maybe go somewhere out.
Well, if you can't go to Greece, come to Melbourne. That's second Greece.
Yes.
That's true.
You're so
There are more
true.
there are more Greeks in Australia than there are in Greece.
Probably. Very
That's
true.
What about global reset? Your Gerald Salon?
Oh, yes. And what about the global reset? They keep on talking about
Not
that.
gonna happen.
So the
So you
Great
don't see a
Reset,
currency?
No.
yeah, the Great Reset by the IMF, that won't go through because everyone hates the idea.
No, because it was a psyop from the beginning to get people to believe in currency revaluation, which was just like Q. Currency revaluation is a conspiracy that went hand in hand in 2012 and 2013 when they tried to force it on everyone. It was a parallel conspiracy world going on. So if you didn't even believe in the baby raping lizards and aliens, you believed in the currency reset. It was the Iraqi dinar or the Taiwanese dong.
PSYOP.
Okay, it's all a psyop.
PSYOP, yeah, I see.
So what will happen with the economy though? Because it's basically been on life support since 2008. So
It's not on life support. It's on cooked books. Okay? It's on cooked books. And when you have regulators looking at your cooked books, you have to maintain the cooked books, right?
that's kind of life
Okay.
support.
No, it's not life support. It's purposely elevated to well over 30,000. So the big banks were able to break up a lot of the mid-level monopolies and take over everything again. Leverage to 600 and 700%, and then slowly implode the market in increments while the big boys are letting go of the toxic assets and buying the real assets. It is an economic warfare system being done by the globalists. 30,000, the 30,000 should really be at 13,000, the United States stock market. So it has that much to fall, but it won't because every part of it is controlled by the algorithms, including the fundamentals.
So they're cleaning it up so they can sustain it more.
No, there's theft of wealth.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, well, that's standard operating procedure.
Yeah, it's massive theft of wealth.
But logically, there's got to be an endpoint to that. If Target owns everything.
No, human beings make new businesses all the time, come up with great new ideas all the time, patent new things all the time.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a self-fulfilling system, which they can constantly can go over and do this again and again and again and again. It's a matter to do it every 8 or 12 years or do it every 30 years.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, because like they seem to have a stock market crash every 20 years or something like that.
Well, it's more like every 8 and 12 now. But it's not really a crash. It's a fake crash.
So there's your endless war. It's in economics.
Well, that in the physical wars, what do the physical wars do? Give a lot of contracts to military industrial systems.
Yeah, yeah. So that sounds fun. Thanks for that.
So Tony and Patty, the best thing for you to now is consolidate, finish taking care of your sick mother, and wherever you're going to go, it's a temporary place. You're going to go there to have fun. You're going to go there to meet people. You're going to go there to have good food. You're going to go there to rest and recover until some of the COVID rules relax, and then travel the world.
Yes, but it's been a real shit show around here. We still have our homes in Boca Raton, so we're on oceanfront property, which is beautiful. But eventually, we love to travel. Like I said, we literally are Ephesians. Yeah. And after Egypt, it's like we just love to travel, and you know, we're hoping that you will put something together eventually when all this kind of relaxes. But we'll see what happens, right? We just take it day by day at this point.
Well,
we're thriving.
I was supposed to have 2 hotel conferences this year. That's not going to happen. So it's online like everyone else right now.
Okay.
And it's the dangers of having a hotel conference. First thing first, I got to advertise 8 months ahead of time. Mm-hmm. So 8 months ago, I had to figure out what's going to happen 8 months later. Can I have a March or April event? And then can I have a September or October event in the same year? And I understood what COVID's going to be. I understood it was going to be around the same time. Now it comes down to the hotels. Hotel events and retreats are not cheap. Okay. And a lot of these hotels, they changed their contracts. See what they did? No refunds, and you have to have the full deposit down in 90 days. You're talking $30,000 to $40,000 for the rental places. Quite literally, those things aren't cheap. Okay.
Yeah.
No refund now. It used to be 15 to 20% down, and then the last payment was due 30 days before the event. They don't do that no more. And it's the local health officials who determine how many people can be at your event, and you have no way of what they're going to do. I tell you ahead of time, because if you limit it to 50 people, you sell 500 tickets. What happens?
I've got a question. The difference between a live event and then a digital event, because we're doing this.
Everyone comes to a hotel, shares things, has drinks and dinners together.
I know that. I've left the house before.
Really?
My question is, I went to the letterbox yesterday. It was a fantastic walk. What is the energy difference, if I can simplify it that way? Because when you're at a live event, you get the full energy experience. Like, I know everyone here would like to be in a room with us on stage, and you get that energy exchange. When you go digital, what's the percentage less, if you know, like what's the difference between?
It's tremendously less. You lose the human energetic contact.
Yeah.
Wow, they're in front of me, and the chemistry of everybody in the room. As a stand-up comedian, you just can't stand up in your empty room in your house and do comedy, can you?
No, the cat doesn't really like it at all. So what? It's this is 10% compared to a live. Give me a number.
8%.
Yeah. And that's what.
And I can even say 2%, because there are sometimes the energies at the live events are so incredibly enthusiastic, fun,
authentic,
all of those things mixed into one.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't compare. I enjoy having shows with you. I enjoy interacting with the audience, but it's not the same as pointing to the guy in the first row and reading his name tag and going, "Bob, tell me something."
Yeah. There is a lot of people that like Melbourne's one of the biggest cities in the world for live music, and the withdrawal that music fans are having, they're missing concerts, and it's I don't think it's an addiction. It's just the massive withdrawal of being in a room with 500 people while 5 or 6 people are performing and being creative, and there's that energy exchange. It's not the same when bands are doing it's a makeup option where you see bands perform and stream, and it's like, oh cool, I saw that, but it's just not the same.
It's just not the same, right? You don't have your friends to the left and right of you smoking a joint, dancing, and there's no mosh pit if you're like that kind of stuff.
Yep.
It's just not there. The community sense is gone.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So another 2 years. Okay, I think we can get through.
Well, late 2023 is when they'll begin to ramp it down.
Wow.
Right. So now the thing is, we're going to be ending the first quarter here pretty soon. And the amount of and I call this the tsunami of bankruptcies and foreclosures is coming. In a tsunami, the ocean pulls out. The ocean's pulling out before the first, second, and third wave of foreclosures and bankruptcies hit, to the point there will not be a bankruptcy court date for 6 years in a row. That's how bad it is. And there's over 3,500 bankruptcy courts in the United States. Okay?
So to clarify, we came to Earth for this moment in time because it's fun?
No, that's part of the economic and spiritual warfare.
I know. I'm just
beat you down. But in that beat down, I can survive. I will thrive. I will not let it take me over. I can regenerate my soul through self-healing, self-nurturing, self-discovery, and all those other self-mastery processes.
And I think that's kind of why people feel a bit wobbly, is like you had 2020 where they didn't have 40 hours a week distraction. And so a lot of people, found yourself, or they did YouTube degrees, and I think I'll just look at this documentary that I've been putting off for a couple of years. And then they learn there's been an awakening in that respect. And it feels to me that everyone's like, oh, instead of, it's that, like most of us, it's been, up to 10, 15 years of slowly waking up to, what's happening behind the shadows. But a lot of people woken up in about, a month. And there's an element of, 5 stages of grief. Like, as you said, with all the Q people, they're going through their kind of awakening and psyops and all that type of stuff. Because, after the 17th date of the world's going to end, it's like, really? And it just wears you down in that respect. And so there's that sort of that anxiety energy, if that's a way of saying it.
Very
it's
good
like,
way to put
it. However, we're humans, adapt. That's what humans do. You'll adapt and survive, and you'll get out the other side. And it's, one thing I don't like about Earth, you have to have pain to grow. Like, not really. It helps, but not all the fucking time.
I want to acknowledge Jimmy the Kid in the chat room. Ascension is really a savage alley beatdown by a street gang called Kamikaze Commandos. No, it's the Backstreet Boys that are beating you down with pop music.
And synchronized dance moves.
Okay?
Yeah, and it sucks if you like death metal. They're like, oh, stop.
Exactly. Hip thrust.
just a jump to the left. Stop, please stop.
Okay. And then there's the Pleiadian boy band called In Synchronicity. And they're a real band.
How many members are there again?
50,000.
Yeah, that's a very large stage. So what they hire out stadiums, and 4 people sit on the stage while they perform in the seats.
Well, they can be energy beings and physical beings at the same time, but their full dance routines when they all manifest is amazing.
Yeah,
they actually have dancers. Every singer is a dancer.
Yeah. I hope there's a form of Slayer out there.
A galactic metal band? Yes, there are. There are Arcturian metal bands. They're just not death metal.
No. There are heavy music that are very positive. Killswitch Engage is one of them.
There is a Syrian Iggy Pop.
Oh man, do I have to see his penis? Because he just likes to get that out occasionally.
There is a Pleiadian NWA.
Palladians with attitude.
Yeah, PWA.
Ooh, so what's their version of N-word?
Human.
Yo, human.
Yo, human. Don't be calling me no human.
Please welcome to the stage, a.w.a.
Humans with attitudes. Exactly.
Oh, yeah. So, can't wait till we can go back into the galaxy. Any hint of when, like, in a timeline, like, or is that a couple of reincarnations away?
What part of the timeline?
Like, will all of us still be alive when we're allowed off planet?
How old will you be in 2083?
109.
How old will you be in 2053, 89, 79?
Well, I'm 74 like you, so you're asking yourself the same question.
I know, but I don't want to do the math in my head.
Yeah, I know. I'll just get the calculator because I'm a dumb human. So what's 53? Well,
2053, there'll be significant changes here, and you won't recognize the world. 2093, it's more shit happens.
Well, that's 30 years away.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
We'll be in our
right.
70. We'll either be our 76. Okay?
Yes, but but will we have the same food, medical, and consciousness vibration?
No.
Because as we expand, because what is the optimum age of a human? Like 25? Is that a good? You know what I mean? You could be 103, but if you've got the body of a 25-year-old.
Well, for men it's 30 because that's when they finish all their growth. For women it's 30 when they finish the peak their sexual growth, and men it's between 18 and 26. But as there are some men whose DNA doesn't evolve until they're 35 and 40, and that's because there's been radical DNA shifts and changes.
Oh, well, that works.
Humanity's life force is actually meant to be lived between 250 and 650 years.
Yeah, so we're all teenagers still. I like that.
Yeah. And your pregnancy is supposed to last 3 and 4 years, not 9 months.
Ooh. Yeah, so stay alive, everyone. And that will happen because as you get older, we're changing because you would have heard 30s and 40s are the new 30s and the 30s are new 20s. Like I don't know.
And the hundreds are the new 20s.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if it's a mindset, but as our bodies are growing older, the consciousness is shifting further up. Where, we're technically middle aged, but we don't look middle aged. We're sort of we're still in our early 30s, even though we're mid 40s, compared to say 20, 30, 60 years ago. Well,
60 years ago, people didn't live this long.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Back in the 1800s, 35 was old.
Yeah.
Old.
Yes. We are ancient ones. We're Methuselah now.
All right, we're freaking Methuselahs compared to the 1800s. Okay.
Yeah. We'll be grandparents if we were in the 1800s.
Do you want to have kids?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, maybe the time you're 50, you will find a worthy kid mate.
Well, David Letterman, I think he was 50 in his 50s when he's had his son. And he just constantly jokes like, my son looks up to me, he goes, "Grandpa."
Well, I'm Greek. I am entitled by birthright and legacy to have kids late in my life and marry a teenage girl.
And have 17 of them.
Patty, Tony, do you agree on that?
Of course.
Nothing sus.
That's very common. Yes.
Very common.
Anyway, I just want to add for anybody, when all this nightmare and really is a nightmare ends, it behooves anyone to attend one of your events because, we had such a great time in Egypt. But, Patricia and I have been on maybe 34 cruises. The Nile trip on the Dahabia was probably the most eventful. It was very intimate at night. I mean, it was probably one of our best cruises we ever taken.
Me too. Me too. All right, and we've got to give credit to our guide there.
Yes.
And
So-
yes, Joe was amazing guide. And like I said, if I could be doing events right now, I would.
And Rod
I
won.
would.
And
Yeah.
you know what we did? We left our doors open, so we had a sense of like peace
On the boat.
On the boat, no one locked
Yeah.
their doors. We had our keys in the door, so
Mhm.
anyone could but it was just a really magical event.
That dinner we had on the little island.
Yes, correct.
Oh
And
my
the belly
God, that was
dancing.
that was amazing.
The belly dancing.
Dancing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
my
yes,
heart. Yes.
Exactly. And that's what we try to tell people. I mean, it's great that you're in front of us, but nothing like being there live. The energy was just incredible. But I just wanted to add that in closing.
Yeah.
And
Well-
if I actually end up doing one of these things with Andrew, you'll have a very interesting time because I will just be annoying comic turd shit stirrer and just like going through Egypt. Is that a speaker? And I'll make Andrew laugh, but everyone else in the group will probably hate me after 3 days. Will you shut up? What about that? Is that a is that a speaker? What is that, a dog? What's that?
Yeah.
Shut up.
All right, Tony and Patty, thanks a lot for calling in. We're going to move on to the next caller.
Thank you. Much love. Thank you.
Much love. We'll
Bye-bye.
talk soon.
Thank
Bye-bye. Okay. All right, Robert, spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
There's two, so it's going to be a 50-50 chance.
I'm flipping my coin that I got from Pence.
Ooh. Oh, now three. All right.
Susan Tower.
Susan Tower, are you there?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
Hi, yes. Where are you
Yes.
calling from?
Great. Corvallis, Oregon.
Corvallis, Oregon. Welcome to the
Yeah.
show once again.
Yeah.
How are things going?
It's going well. It's going well. I got to say, I was a bit disappointed about the whole inauguration, but I'm adjusting. It did occur to me I'm in the first stage of grief, which is denial.
Mind you, it was that
It's-
boring. I'm in denial as well. Like, oh,
Yeah.
really?
I know. But I wanted to ask you, thanks for letting me come on. Also, I've got a bunch of questions, but what is your reflection on like the alignment with the Bolshevik revolution and the truth movement that they had there to find out the
Operation
rebels?
Trust.
Operation
Yeah.
Trust. Yes. Okay.
And the
They
Q-
pulled this
and the
in,
Q-
they pulled this
Yeah.
in 2012. I was around in 2012 and I saw what it did and how they redid it in 2013, 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2015. Then they broke everyone. Okay. And then the whole community fell apart and a whole bunch of new people came in. And that's when Q took over and they just ran another PSYOP. And I called it from day one, PSYOP.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a
Well,
TV
you know what?
show called.
I actually
is-
remember. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have a question about the Q movement. I remember quite a while ago, I think when it first began, that you mentioned there was like one sentence where you were kind of speculating about what it was, and you said that it was potentially. You were clear that you weren't sure. The Q was benevolent AI.
Benevolent AI.
Benevolent AI.
What
Yeah.
ended up happening is the movement itself got taken over by the Karens and the Kens.
Oh.
And as soon as that happened, no matter what was actually trying to go on positively, because you can hijack a PSYOP. That happens quite frequently. They just, the Karens and the Kens hijacked it. Okay. And then the Q stepped up his propaganda, radicalizing people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And once radicalization begins, it's very hard, if not impossible, to re-enter society without going through the 5 stages of grief over and over again.
Oh, that's true. Well, I followed it at first. I thought it was fascinating and I was excited. I could understand like half of it, the Q stuff. But then after a while I was like, I don't really care about following it anymore, but I still definitely follow the people who, are unraveling those Q, clues and such.
But the thing is, the Qs were never researchers. There were researchers long before Q ever came out. And what
Yes.
Q PSYOP successfully did is discredited all the real researchers that proved that there were underground societies, secret societies, the Illuminati. That was all proven long before Q, and Q hijacked it and he made fake researchers.
Yeah, and it's interesting the level they got to now, where like I found it fascinating, but I didn't connect to it on even last week. I sort of said, well, we'll wait and see. I mean, if everything they're putting forward happens, that's awesome. I don't see it happening though. But it got to the level. One example, apparently, and this does not make any sense at all, because the size and shape of Donald Trump and the size and shape of Joe Biden, and they're actually saying that they did like the movie Face Off, and they changed the faces of Trump and Biden. And it's like, well, they would have to shorten bones and he would lose weight, as well as, and this is the kicker, the operation was performed by Joseph Mengele, who would be 109 years old.
That's how far Q-tards have gone.
Yeah, it's that element of like, there's a psyop, it gets taken over, and then you just let it run to not its logical end, just its completely illogical thing of like,
sorry, I'm interrupting. Q will be the next flat Earth.
Yeah.
Well, come on, it's woken up a lot of people. It's not all.
No, it didn't. It destroyed a lot of people. It destroyed a lot of people. And radicalized and destroyed a lot of people.
Yeah, it depends, because like Andrew actually shared a Alex Jones video, which is completely 100%, where for a lie to work, it needs truth in it, and that's how you can draw in the energy of it. And so like Q used a lot of information and then twisted it and just made shit up. So it took sort of a basic reality of, there are a cabal, and some of them are pedophiles, some of them eat babies, maybe 4. But then they just like, and then totally made it up. It's like, how can I describe it? The Gulf of Tolkien, and then you end up where it's Star Wars. There's that jump. There's a massive jump of faith. Trust the plan. What's the plan? I can't tell you. Yeah,
it's hard for me to follow movie references because I don't watch them too much, but I do see that there's been like a gap that's been, like a division, and it's just sort of gone off the deep end. I mean, I was one of the researchers long ago, like 15, 20, well, I don't know, 18 years ago. I was like, what the fuck is behind all this shit? Like, why doesn't anything good work? And I just started researching, and I found out, the Satanism, like that's the awful stuff behind it. And then I was like, how are people ever going to believe this? Because I started to share it. People are like, that's crazy. Well, because it is. Like, I would never have believed it had I not looked myself. And that's the benefit I do see from Q, is that the idea that that's even going on is like a topic. I mean, it's a horrible topic. God,
believing it is not waking up, though.
Oh.
Following how would you, is not waking it up. Jumping into it and jumping out of it is not waking up.
I think I figured it out, where the Q narrative is horse shit, but the narrative has been built on actual facts, if we can say it that way. And so I believe in Q's. Like, well, there's certain, let's say, I'm picking a number, 80% of it are known facts, and then there's that chasm of jumping. The jump of faith of like, well, clearly Donald Trump is playing 12D chess, and he's changed his body with Biden, and he's going to save the republic because he's Jesus. Like, yeah, that's probably a bit too far, but there is actually something called the government, if you know what I mean. They've taken building blocks and built a castle which doesn't make sense.
See, the thing is, the negative side of Q is the subtle and direct radicalization away from reality. That ultimately isn't waking up. When one is rapidly changed from their old beliefs to their new beliefs with this radicalization process, you live in adrenal glands. You aren't waking up to the truth of natural living. You aren't waking up to the truth of the earth as a spirit and a being. You aren't waking up to the truth of the consciousness movement. You're living the adrenal gland life. That's not being awake. That's adrenal gland chemical living, which is still in the system.
And because what I think happens is that, like, most people know something's wrong, and then there's an easy answer with the Q narrative, and then it draws you into that adrenal thing, and there's a element of addiction. I didn't go through the Q addiction, but there was an element of going into conspiracy where you just had to know more information and just ride that wave and everything else. But with like the whole, since the election all the way through, I really didn't follow it because I knew the emotional ride where it's totally fake. It's like, oh, Trump made ground here because the lawyer said this, and then the court said no, and just going up and down, up and down, up and down. And with Q, like someone actually said in the chat room, Q helped them wake up. The trick is know when to step off, and so you can sort of see the basis of it. Like, say Pizzagate, and Pizzagate doesn't exist. It's a small group of elites that are pedophiles, and they ignore, and yet they also say that Jeffrey Epstein exists. And so, something's there. And so it's, something's wrong. And then Q goes, oh, here it is. This is all fact. It's like, and there's an addiction to that sort of thing. And people have fallen for that. Now, the trick is when you're screwed over and you're going through that denial, the grief, the trick is to, Q is fake, but 80% of it are facts. You don't walk away completely. That's sort of part of the psyop as well. When you find out it's a psyop, you have a choice of ignoring all of it and go back to your normal. You take the blue pill and go back into the matrix. However, if you realize that you're being used, you can step back and then, Andrew can help, of course, but you find out what is actually truth because it's not 100% lies because it wouldn't work. There's truth in there. The thing is trying to figure it out.
It's the radicalization that will mean the person has to radically detach from it. And that is a massive mind, soul-based trauma.
Yes.
Example, there are many people who were on the path of being great and powerful healers, great and powerful light workers, starting businesses, and they got so wrapped up in the baby raping Q-tardian stuff, they let go of their business. Okay? Absolutely let go of their business. And they want to know why they have no clients.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, I certainly don't talk to people about the topic, even though I'm knowledgeable. I just usually ready to answer questions, but not
social media is designed to be dopamine-based released approval rating. And Q combined with social media and combined with an audience that is unaware of how the social engineering towards dopamine is done, it was a perfect recipe to instantly radicalize people and make them a compartmentalized aspect of the community that will be marginalized.
And the way that it will be used now is that Q is fake. Everything from Q is pointless and made up. And so now if you, it's so hard, in a way, people like ourselves have to step back. If we say anything that falls into the Q section, so normal people will just dismiss it. And it's like, well, no, you know what I mean? And so that's the fun part where, so if anyone starts talking to you about Q, it's like, well, how far down the rabbit hole did you go? Did you fall for the fake narrative? And you can start talking about and just use simple facts. Here's some fun, put into a search engine, conspiracy theories that came true. And you use that if as an example, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Casey Dawn has said in the chat room, conspiracy has been weaponized. This is what I've been saying for years, weaponized information. Now, the thing is, those researchers that existed long before Q, they are now put into the Q-tard group.
Yeah.
And they're never going to be able to separate themselves because that was the greater purpose of the PSYOP, was to marginalize and victimize and radicalize those that were beginning to learn a truth that was purposely being leaked to them for the purpose of radicalization and marginalization.
Now, a trick for that is
they could kick the can down the road for 4 more years, 4 more years after that, and 4 more years after that.
So if you're having a conversation with someone, find the most ludicrous endpoint of Q, like Trump and Biden had a face change, and you find that the level of complete impossibility and use that as an example of like, really, like, the Federal Reserve Bank is a privately owned entity, and it makes money off the American people. Oh, that's just Q stuff. No, that's a
real.
fact. Yeah, that's real. Q is Donald Trump is Jesus, and Biden and Trump change. Biden's in on it. You want to use the example of how ridiculousness it got, and you show to the other person, it's like, well, hang on, it's not black. It's that simple black and white thing where there's 17 shades of gray.
Mm-hmm. See, the thing is, the Q-tards got so dumb the last 6 months and so aggressive that they were going to win the last 6 months that they had got as bad as flat earthers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said the true Q-tards will be in the same boat as flat earthers. You will see a Q flat earth conference in 2023.
Oh my God.
Okay?
That's funny. Well, I'm not going to go to that one. I'm not going to go to that conference. But I do have a couple questions for you about what, like, the progress that maybe, like, was that all a lie too? Like, has there been, like, what about the Vatican being cleaned, like,
Garbage,
or whatever
absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
If you go back to the conspiracies of 2012, the Pope was arrested 6 times. Netanyahu was removed and killed and made into a clone. All this was been absolutely repeated 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. Do you remember Drake?
I never followed him. I do remember that name.
He was another one of the assholes that said green light 7 months in a row.
Oh. Yeah,
Okay.
I got tired of that. I followed a bunch of people during that time.
Okay.
After a while.
David Wilcox, green light 10 times in a row.
Oh, totally.
I don't know why anybody believes David Wilcock with any dates now. David, just
I
keep
know,
your
right?
wisdom teachings. Stop.
It's embarrassing.
Right.
It's embarrassing.
Huh?
I'm not that he's a smart guy. I actually learned stuff from his, like, intellectual stuff.
Me too.
but-
His intellectual stuff, great.
Mhm.
Modern
Yeah.
politics, garbage.
Yeah, I know, right? It's true.
it's and also he may be being used because his sources are telling him this information, and then he releases the information. If the source is lying, like,
I mean,
if he's
look,
being told shit.
I follow some people who I know they're not lying, but I think they're, and that it, I don't know, over the years, they've been, quote, right a lot, but it's still humans involved. But still, I think we were all, like, fooled or whatever about this inauguration, and the March 4th thing just seems like another kicking the can. Actually, I'm just starting to get this. I'm adjusting to it.
As you're in the stage of denial right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I just don't even think that. Like, the March thing just seems like another kicking the can. Like, I
No,
kind of already
another
get that.
reach at I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
That's all that it is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a reach that I'm not wrong.
It's not the controllers of the psyop. It's the people that are in the psyop. It's like they can't accept that it happened, and so, like, no, it's in March 4th, and everyone's going to arrest it, and it's pure hopium, high grade level hopium, where that's what we want. As I said earlier, where if it happens, awesome, that's cool. It won't, and a lot of people, it's going to be that you come off a sugar high and you crash.
Well, I actually have some questions, and, like, truly, like, I mean, it's kind of chilling. Like, speaking of adrenaline, like you were talking about earlier, like being attached to finding out about all this stuff. Like, I don't really, Trump is a clear narcissist. I don't necessarily like him at all. And I've been just appalled at some of the things he's said. But the idea about, like, China having a deal with Biden, like, I'm kind of concerned about that. I'm in the Northwest. Like, it seems that China troops have been seen just over the border in Canada. And
Stop.
Yeah.
They have been telling
Tell
the
me.
China troops have been moving since 2012. Drake
my
said
God,
it.
okay.
Wilcox
New to
said it.
me.
It's
All right.
garbage. That's
All
the
right.
same shit they said in 2012.
Okay, good. Glad
Same
to
shit.
know.
Yeah. So if you want to get through your denial and your stages,
Well,
just
that's
go
why I'm
back,
asking.
Go back to look at 2012, 2013, and you'll notice the same, because that's ruled by psychopaths, run by idiots. They're using the
Wow.
same playbook from 1694, and you'll be able to. Yeah, you'll be able to spot the same thing, and it'd be fun. It's like, they did this, and this, and you may be able to see where they're going to go next, because it's all happened 8 years ago.
Well, I actually love history, but I'm new to the Northwest. And so, I was just like, well, that's credible. Like, I mean, credible. I mean, I guess I mean potential, meaning like that's a potential. So sort of concerned about the China takeover idea. And so
why are you concerned, and what activated your adrenal gland to be paranoid about it? Some article that showed
it's
some
totally
train.
following the Q stuff. Oh, totally
Right.
from that.
Meaning you were radicalized to it without allowing your discernment to go, hey.
Well, it just seemed like, well, I'm getting it now. Like, I'm super glad to be talking to you guys about this because, like, yeah, that's why I wanted to ask. It's like, really, like, I'm just wondering. And then I've been recently just really appalled at the censorship, like the aggression from the left. Like, we're going to go after everyone.
Why are you appalled? They told you they were going to do it, and the Q-tards got so bad, they poked the bear of censorship. They poked the bear of censorship because they became so Karen and Ken arrogant that they had no choice but to be suppressed.
And if you look at the bigger picture, by doing all that censorship, they're just exposing what they want to do as well.
Right.
So it's like, yeah,
that's part of the bigger psyop was because they got so radicalized, it became positive news they were being censored, and hundreds of millions of Americans said, yes, censor them.
I know I just think that's a terrible direction for us to be agreeing to.
Well, yeah, like, a lot of even
censorship.
People a lot of people that I mean, if you've got France and Germany saying to Twitter to the United States, "Oh, that's a bit much," you've gone to you've crossed the line type thing. But a lot of people that aren't even new, if you go back to December 19. There were so many people that would just laugh at you with the whole censorship, New World Order, lockdowns, martial law and everything else like that. But over the last 12, 14 months, people are aware of this type of stuff now because they've been hearing New World Order for 30 years. And there are a lot for the censorship thing. It in a way, it's waking people up on the 3D level where it's like, they did what?
Wait, censorship is. Wait, I'm sorry. I want to make sure I'm following you. Are you saying censorship is waking people up? Like, it makes me definitely triggers my adrenals. Like,
well, it does. But they're muggles is the wrong word, isn't it, Andrew? Normal people.
I love that word. I love
muggles. Muggles fits.
Okay,
yeah.
The muggles. The muggles have found out that tech companies have the power to silence the president of the United States, not Donald Trump, but the president of the United States.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you're being American, you've got this whole thing about freedom. You've mentioned it once or twice. A lot of normal people have gone, wait a minute. And it's that, in the back, there's a splinter in the back of your mind, as Morpheus says, something's wrong. And as they keep progressing down this road of trying to bring in New World Order, which is, Nazism times 1,000, they're going to wake people up before they get to it because their actions will betray their words type thing. And so all the stuff that's happening that conspiracy and spiritual people know anyway. It's like, well, yeah, they told us that they're doing this, but the normal person on the street were completely unaware because they're just trying to make rent and buy food and look after their kids. They're seeing these big tech pretending to be God, and it's like, wait a minute, that's not right.
So there's one thing we have to understand about big tech. It is just an extension of the military-industrial complex and has now become an apparatus for the military-industrial complex to exist force over the people, bypassing the Congress.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
And people are waking up. Yeah, people are waking up to that. That's why
big tech would not exist without the military-industrial complex. Big tech created social media.
Oh, just look at Standing Rock. If you want to look at one example, all the military showing up to protect the corporation, not the people.
I mean, I follow a couple of people on Twitter and Instagram where they're conservative or / independent commentators, news reporter type people. And I think there's a slow realization of the conspiracy theorists are kind of right with certain things, because something that was said 5 years ago, well, they wouldn't do that. That's totally ridiculous. I mean, really, you think that would happen? And then they've seen it happen. Like, Andrew, remember that joke where I explained in March when they, martial law and all lockdowns, half the conspiracy world shat themselves because they realize what they've been talking about for years has come true.
Right.
It's like, what, this is real?
But part of the journey to validating the conspiracy allows them to change the nature of the apparatus too. The apparatus can get more and more and more and more intense.
Yeah, and change their narrative as well, where they've exposed this, because they're not wise. They're intelligent. There is that different. Like David Icke says, it's intelligent to create an atom bomb. It's wise not to make the bloody thing. And so anything where they're being exposed, they've got plan F, plan G to move it around. And so in a way, part of the Q narrative, they've probably burned a couple of ideas and conspiracies, but the larger outcome is that Q didn't happen. All these people are insane. Can't talk about anything. So we're in a way, the information's gone back to a starting point again, and you have to slowly go like that. At the same time, you have big tech and censorship. First they came for Alex Jones. Well, we said something, but that whole thing. The whole Alex Jones thing is funny, where it's like the big tech companies want to silence you. So what do the big tech companies do? They silenced him by proving the conspiracy right. It's that level of silliness.
I want to interject on Alex Jones. He was I'm gonna break a little bit of my rules. Alex Jones created his own psyop with his
knowingly or unknowingly.
Unknowingly, he used the psyop military intelligence rules and created an empire before the psyop people went, oh shit, he's using all the shit against us. And then they censored him because his next phase would have made him mainstream.
Oh, yeah. Also, is he Bill Hicks or not? Because
he's not Bill Hicks.
All right, thank you. It's like
when they censored him, he agreed to be censored because he had the capacity to sue at every level and beat YouTube, beat Facebook, and beat all of them. He had the backing to do it, and more than enough patriot law firms that would have filed lawsuits in every state, as long with including his people who are paying him a monthly subscription through YouTube, because YouTube's particular terms of service at that time, the termination of it, there was so many backdoor lawsuits, they would have been crushed.
He always seemed like paid opposition to me.
No, he's competition to the opposition.
Okay.
And a lot of times your competition to the opposition gets paid. But he has always been competition to the media. The thing is, Alex Jones accepted censorship because it made him a living legend.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And that, he used to, basically the idea is he would show documents and articles. He would actually have physical proof of the facts being put forward. Now, some of those facts could be completely made up. However, that's got to do with, say, the LA Times that printed the stuff. And so Alex, I don't know if he wavers from it now, but it used to be he could prove everything for the mainstream audience.
And he still can.
Yeah.
He still can prove it.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's just when he starts to game things out, and in a way he sort of plays a character, but even every stand-up comedian has a character or an act. That's why it's called an act. They're not 100% truthful on stage. They're probably, say, 78, but they're still putting on a sort of comic mask. It may be clear, but you know what I mean? It's not, 100% them. That's why it's called an act, basically.
Right. The character Alex Jones was the psyop that he created with psychological warfare rules behind it, but it wasn't from day one. It's realized when he got actual traction after he visited the Night of Owls and the whole Illuminati background stuff. That is when he said, I'm at a unique point where if I use the psyop rules to my advantage, they'll never see it coming. And he did, and grew an empire, and now he's a living legend. Bohemian Grove. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, And also, to empathize a little bit with him, if he's been fighting the globalists for 15 years and this opportunity comes forward, well, I think this is a great idea. Let's do this. It's like I've learned how to do Alex Jones now. He just sounds like I've eaten a bucket of gravel. I can't fault him. I'm not saying I would do the same thing, and if he was 100% correct, but it's easy for him. It's a probability, difference between a possibility and a probability. It's probable that he decided to do that because he could make traction and try and get the info out there, and obviously
and not radicalize people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because he doesn't want to be worshipped. He's been saying lately, I don't know if it's part of the act or whatever's going on, he wants to retire. He's been doing it for 27 years. I can understand that, where he probably wants to have a day off.
Sure, but the thing is, he doesn't have anyone that could even potentially take his place.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to be the focal.
Right, and he's tried grooming many people.
Yeah, and he actually has started, say, in the last 5-10 years, pointing out other people as well, because he just doesn't want to be the focal point. And that's that sort of Messiah complex where, that's part of the Q thing of like, Trump's going to save you. Really? Like he's trying to help. However, that's not how, we aren't living in a basic Hollywood story with the hero's journey. You're in your own story. You are the hero of the journey. You don't, that's why I'm not really a big fan of Christianity. I like the ideas of Christianity, but when it's the whole thing of he's my Lord and I'm scared of him, like, I don't think Jesus, that's what he said. And
it didn't say eat my flesh.
Yeah, drink my blood, eat my flesh. But apart from that,
I realized how much like cannibalism that was one day. Like, I don't know, with a shock. It's like, oh my God, it's a ritual, cannibalism ritual. I grew up in the church. Yeah.
And so, that gets these people don't like Christianity, the teaching of Jesus, which is basically love everyone and respect everything. You can, I've condensed the Bible into 4 words. But the thing is, the church is what makes people really upset because of what they do, and they want control and everything. It's like, I do find it funny because I'm a heavy metal guy, and in the metal, it's like, there's all these bands who pretend to be Satanists, and it's like, really? And all they're doing is they're just rejecting the Church of Christ, which has 30,000 different versions of it. And it's just a small, in spirituality, Christianity is very small. The ideas are very big because, be nice. Yeah, that's a good idea. Also the Abrahamic religions, it's, 3 different religions, but it's the same God, and they're fighting each other. I don't think, I don't think God's sitting there going, "Oh, this is working out well." You're supposed to love each other.
And it's a tiny religion compared to everything else.
Yeah, Hinduism, and Taoism,
Buddhists.
Buddhists. Even state religion of China is bigger than Christianity. And it's kind of weird too. The Christians seem to be a target in the culture war as well. But the thing is,
because of the secret societies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew, I just a little bit off topic, but I want to make sure to ask you about, do you see the vaccines being another adrenaline topic, the vaccines being, enforced to take them? I'm not going to take one. And I'm a little concerned.
This is what I'll say. If I have to have a vaccine to travel and do my business, I'll take it. But I won't take the first or second generation of it. I won't take the warp speed 9-month vaccine. Okay. Also, 5G was a radicalization topic, and vaccinations was a radicalization topic. Everything that's wrong with vaccines right now can be fixed with understanding that the dose that they give to an adult human and the dose that they give to the baby is the same size. And you're getting 22 vaccinations, but by the time you're 2. And all they needed to is extend those out, and there'll be no problems with the vaccinations. Every vaccination has a certain percentage of people who are going to react negatively to it. And it's because the dosing size never changes. It's because that would mean they'd have to make multiple age doses, which is not profitable.
Yeah. If you look at vaccines now compared to the 80s, in the 80s, it was this strange thing about health. Now it's about money.
Right. So
Well, I mean,
everything about vaccines, the majority of the stuff about vaccines is absolute fear porn.
But
I mean,
yeah,
I think there's a lot. I know a lot of moms who had their kids vaccinated, and they will say that their kids started to shut
Because
down,
they were given
that day.
they were given an adult dose at a
Yeah.
time when the baby, they didn't do blood work on the baby.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
the other
I-
thing. They never do blood work on a kid before you give them a dose.
yeah, and that's where SIDS comes from. They
Right.
they don't realize
Exactly. I didn't
they're,
vaccinate my kid. I
yeah.
didn't vaccinate my kid 30 years ago because I saw enough evidence that it was enough to question. I'm just a big questioner.
You
But
know what the percentage of failure rated in vaccinations is?
probably 80%.
No, like 2.6. So
What,
if you
failure?
have 2.6, meaning 2.6 people have a negative reaction to it.
Oh, negative reaction. I thought you meant
Or
failure
die.
to protect you. I thought it meant
Well,
failure
no.
to protect you.
Well,
from the vaccine.
pretty much every vaccine only has a 50-50 chance of protecting you.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the flu vaccine has a 6% chance of helping you. And it says it right there on the Tamiflu and all those big major ones. The thing to understand is the medical community used hyper efficiency over actual medical practice.
Yes.
And instead of vaccinating a baby, you're supposed to do blood work on the baby and find where the hormonal levels are. Is the mother breastfeeding or not? A study that came out a long time ago, the significant amount of babies that were affected negatively by the vaccine is because they weren't being breastfed. Okay?
And
That's
the element
interesting.
of the psyop as well. This is my stance on vaccine. They look good on paper. Let's have higher safety standards, and I get called an anti-vaxxer because you're just put into that. It's like you're either for or against. It's that black and white, that opposition where it's like you question it like, is this vaccine safe? Shouldn't you know? I mean, my 6-year-old niece has more vaccines in her than I do.
Right.
Because being born in 74.
Such a crime.
Yeah, well, that's like they're just thinking of money and they're being efficient, but the human body doesn't do that. The immune system's being attacked because you're pumping how many vaccines by the age of 5? Is it now?
22 vaccines by the time they're 18 months.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So what do you think the human body's going to do? It's freaking out.
Right.
Go, instead of going outside and eating dirt like the rest of us and letting the
that
immune
was
system.
my plan. Yeah.
A human baby as an infant still has mother's stem cells in it all the way up into 20 to 2 years.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah. A friend of mine.
It's the counter stem cell reaction that rejects the vaccine and makes the harmful issue to the baby, because the stem cells looks at the vaccine as an invasion, because all vaccines are what? Viral induced.
Yeah, I have a friend who didn't vaccinate her daughter, and I'm guessing like your child, they glow because the immune system actually had and
chance
they
to
were
grow.
lucky, but the human body did what it's naturally done, and it's I'm sure he's been sick and he's fought it off and everything else like that, but they just glow because they haven't had the medical system go all now bang.
Well, it's true. Like just raising my daughter was born in 93, and so in that batch of kids, I mean she's 27 now, but just her growing up years, like all of her friends were sick. They couldn't go camping with us or anything. They had their inhalers with them. It was crazy. Never seen a batch of kids so sick. And, my kid had a few flus or whatever, but I mean, well, we did eat organic food too. So I've been on that track. It's good food.
Food makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
It ultimately determines how the body's going to grow.
And what I heard this, so it could be wrong, but apparently in medical school, doctors only have a morning on nutrition. Even though
one class,
that's true.
One class,
and it doesn't make sense because you are what you eat, and if you put shit in,
you got to eat. You got to eat balanced food.
Right. That is by design, because they want the insurance companies to tell you how to be a doctor when you get out.
God, so true. When
it's
is
all
this
about
going
money.
to end, Andrew? When is this going to end?
When the laws tell the insurance company to stop interfering with doctors and medicine. Okay,
when does that happen?
Not anytime soon.
Next 3 decades ish.
Yeah,
it's
maybe
exhausting.
3 decades.
Well, they're not going to make us get a vaccine, right? Like, I don't need to go get a camping gear.
Can I be blunt with you?
Yes,
more than
please.
likely they're not going to force vaccines. Right now, they're having a major issue with the black market of vaccines. And they're triple charging the rich people, quadruple charging the rich people $20,000 to get a vaccine.
Oh
Okay?
no! Oh my
Right.
God!
And I know this is an attack on Trump. He engineered a black market to race it out this fast.
I can only
Absolutely,
imagine.
this was a money-making profit process for him and all of the vaccine companies.
Oh,
Normally, it
Well,
takes
try-
20 years to develop and test a vaccine, and they're doing it in 8 months, and they're still producing it in the hundreds of millions. Come on.
Yeah,
Come
I
on.
remember. Remember when asbestos was good, DDT was good,
Right.
cigarettes were good, and the thing about tobacco, it's not the actual tobacco; it's the way that it's actually made as well. Where they're profiting. You know, how does Big Pharma say it? A healthy person is a lost customer, and so instead
Right.
of
Oh no!
was it Nixon changed the way that health system works? So you can make a lot of money being a doctor. That's nice, but what's your success rate of keeping people alive?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was about health, not financial gain.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing well, you can financially gain for it. Even I remember Bill, nearly said Bill Hicks, Alex Jones. He tells a story because his dad's a dentist, and even I think Ron Paul said it. A quarter of the doctor's time was actually doing free stuff because you're a healer, not a moneymaker. And so you would actually help the poor. You know, that's why there's that human decency of like people going into third world countries and trying to heal all these people to make their life better. It's not for money. It's that the joy of, you know, healing. Could be ego based as well, but still the idea of saving 20 kids in Africa because you've cleaned up their water, you know, little simple things like that. I think he's a musician, a singer or rapper, Archon, has basically given
Archon?
100. I think
Is that his name?
AKON. He spent some
okay.
of his money. He goes to Africa, I believe, and gives people solar panels, and gives people energy that way. I could be wrong, but that's the story I heard. That the other thing, when you have people doing the charity, the really good ones you don't hear about because it's not about their PR. It's about just helping people because, you know, if you've got over $50 million, why do you need more? That's why I find interesting about billion, unless it's greed and power. But, you know, if I had $5 million, I'll be set for about 15 years. Like, you know what I mean? You can live, you don't need so much money. There's a nice level of money. And because of the way, you know, people still think $10,000 is a lot of money, only to people like me who gets welfare. But, bankers are getting $400,000 bonuses a year. What are they doing with it?
Buying Porsches and ripping off their clients.
Yeah, but still, my point is, like, how many? $400,000. That's what, 10 Porsches?
No, that's one.
Okay, well, yeah.
Like, seriously though, what about the awakening? Like, what about this? Like, people are awakening.
The awakening has nothing to do with the global narrative, global politics, and global perception. The awakening is individual experience. And the biggest lie the light worker community keeps propagating, it's a collective experience. It was never meant to be a collective. It's an individual awakening to your individual self, separate from the global narrative of distraction, which is there to keep you from awakening to the potentials of yourself.
Yeah, and when everyone does that, it becomes a collective. Once everyone does that, it becomes a collective, and they've just jumped to the end. But you have to do it's an inside job, to quote 9/11. Go ahead.
So the shit show. So the shit show is going to continue.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
100%. Like, we're not going to see the corporations become, like, I don't know, dissolved or something.
No.
The
shit show will be a diarrhea show the shit show will be a diarrhea show for a bit. The shit show will be liquid turds, hard turds. It'll be a variety of shapes, sizes, and structures.
Exploding fecal matter.
Yeah.
Well, Well, okay, and then despite it, so then the game is really is like despite the shit show that we are still the awakening can't be stopped, and it's always on an individual. It's not we're gonna get a big hand up.
You have a
You're
choice
never
of
gonna
not
get a
letting.
hand up.
Yeah, you have a
Well,
choice of not buying into the shit show. It's like, be aware. It's not denial in that respect. It's being aware of it and go, I'm not going to pay attention to that. Because if you give it energy, you can get roped into it energetically in the matrix.
Definitely getting that detail, like even more, like I definitely like getting that detail. But I also want to make sure that I'm safe and everything, like, and I am a questioner. I have been really concerned about, like, I've been so left my whole life, like only just last couple of years have I just been like, wow. See what happened there is the left. Yeah, but the left grabbed the goalposts and ran 400 meters to further. A lot of people now are going centrist because the far left are insane, but left. They're crazy.
I'm from being.
I'm a constitutional.
Being.
I'd say I'm constitutional.
Yeah, being a nice person, do no harm. Like a lot of people that used to say they're left in the 20th century, and now they've been put into the center because we haven't changed. The parameters have moved because they've gone the far left in extremism. And if it's it's two wings of the same bird, whereas who's controlling the wings? But as you get the extremism, it's like a horseshoe. And extreme right, extreme left are basically the same thing, and they're nearly touching because they're fucking insane.
Yeah, it's similar. It's true. So I got to ask too, like, has there been any progress on helping to save the children? Like, has there been any of it? Like,
yeah. Well, how generalized do you want to say?
Well, no, I mean, I followed every single thing about like, Trump is supposed.
You got sucked into it. You got sucked into another psyop. You got sucked into another psyop.
I believe you. Okay.
There has been child abuse rings long before this modern society.
Oh, I know that. In Samaria.
The Romans and the Sumerians industrialized it.
Yeah.
It was far worse then than it is now.
I believe that.
Well, what we're seeing now is it's been hidden for so long. It's been exposed.
It's coming out. I just want to make sure I get this question in. I'm sorry to be assertive with it, but I really want to know, like, has there been any progress in rescuing children during the years of Trump, the Trump years? I mean, we're totally told that.
You were lied to.
Well, there has been articles.
Go ahead. More children were rescued under Bush 2 than any other president. Bush 2 liberated the children that were children rape rings. All the other ones just picked up where he left off.
Yeah, that's
you mean picked up. Wait, you mean picked up with being participants?
Participants. The rest of the communities never participated until Bush 2 stepped up and said, "We're putting an end to this stuff."
Bush 2?
George W. Yeah, W.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That feels like a conspiracy theory.
Nope. You can go and truly check. You can go and truly check it, and you'll discover it's George W. Bush that did that.
Yeah, because they report on stuff. Yeah, they report on stuff. But the thing is, they use
any of it. Did Trump do any of it?
There has been. Well, see, it's not just Trump.
I know it's not just him, but this whole era.
As the Trump era, you have seen reports that the media have reported on. They've saved 147 kids in Austin or wherever.
I followed all of that.
There are and now what? But that's true. There's facts there. Now what's happened is the Q and the WAGO, whatever, they've gone. Oh, there's 18,000 kids under Melbourne and stuff. Yeah, they've taken that bit of kernel of truth. And then they've jumped into
what is the deal about all the underground sites, Andrew? Could you comment about that? Like
99% of it is total psyop bullshit.
Yeah.
The 1%, there are underground bases, and there was a war to destroy underground bases. I talked about it in early 2014 and 2015. The bases that needed to be destroyed were destroyed. But they couldn't destroy the entire infrastructure of underground bases, or the world would have fallen.
Yeah. And also, there are tunnels under Melbourne. They're not full of kids.
Right.
During the pandemic in New York, where 100,000 kids were saved from the tunnels of New York.
Well, is that true? Did that happen?
Where are they?
I'm asking Andrew.
Yeah, but there
Did
would
that
be
happen?
evidence.
No.
Yeah, well, no, because you would see evidence of it. You would have
Well,
all these
that's just
kids
it.
come
We
out.
never saw evidence.
Because it
that's what
didn't
I mean.
happen.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it didn't happen.
It's just one
Wow.
story that fed into the hopium, and for it to actually come true, there would be logical thing of like, well, New York would have seen tens of
Right.
thousands
I
of kids
understand
being
what would have
fed,
happened
and
if it had come true. That's why I'm asking if it was true. I
well,
understand
no,
what would have
there's
happened.
there's no evidence that it's true.
I
There's only evidence
understand
that.
that.
Okay, yeah, but there's
I
evidence,
get
there's a story, but there's no logical follow on from the story of like, well, where are these kids now, and blah blah blah.
Well,
and,
that's why I'm asking.
It was a psyop. It was a psyop from the very beginning to get people radicalized. And if you really think how the Save the Children movement was radicalized so many people.
It has.
Okay?
I mean, it's a radicalizing thing. Like if you think that you're part of like actually helping this horrible situation, it is. And so are you saying that like no progress essentially was made in that topic?
Under Trump, there were kids that were rescued, but those are the standard things that are done every year by the FBI, the ATF. Okay. The drug cartels have rape rings and all that stuff, but that's been going on for centuries. Okay. So those are the normal busts that go on. Trump did not do anything different than any other presidents that have been around. And it's George W. Bush that has the biggest track record of actually rescuing children.
That's crazy. That just means that it's probably had did nothing compared. Like, and that's like, to me, then that sounds like Trump's done like 5% of what's been attributed to him, but we're all waiting for evidence.
Less than 5%, maybe 1.2.
What a fucked up thing.
Well, the other thing is
so fucked up.
The numbers are probably like Trump probably got rid of, only did say 3% of what it's been attributed to him, but he could have cleaned up 50% of the actual kids that have been being locked away and everything else like that.
Okay.
But the numbers of the psyop though are blown it out by 400%,
obviously,
or 4,000%.
Okay. I'm just starting to get that. I'm kind of pissed about just getting it right now, so I'm being kind of assertive about this. Kind of pissing me off. So
understandable.
What's going to happen to that situation then, Andrew? Like what's the arcing resolution to that horrible story?
All those people who were radicalized by that psyop have been minimalized, marginalized, thrown into the flat earth community, and you're considered undesirable citizens now. And they're going to have a very hard time re-entering society because they've damaged themselves so much.
And the stigma of it.
But as far as the people, okay, so that's the people who followed the topic. What about the actual topic of the children? I was asking about them, like the topic of like ending that, onto this planet.
You're not gonna stop a global industrial reign of slavery. Slavery didn't end in the Civil War. It got actually more incredible. Okay, slavery exists all over the world right now. It's a criminal commodity, and it has always been a criminal commodity.
Yeah, that's sort of like you have to take down the apparatus of the global narrative for that.
Well, I thought we're all getting, like, generally speaking, higher vibration, and truth is coming out, and this is what this is. We're facing the darkness.
Individually, not as a collective. You must have an individual experience before a collective can come together. And there must be a groundswell of individuals who have their own experience before the collective can even come together.
And the fun part of creation is, as you do your inner work, your frequency changes, and you may actually jump out of this reality and go an inch to the left, and the world's better because you've risen your vibration. Because there's multiple sort of reality. It's very simple. Like I remember Andrew saying, like, because for a while there, past lives, it's not linear. Where I'm sure I'm existing on this planet 3 or 4 other times in different, it could be a girl in Somalia and a grandfather in Greece. It's to quote Doctor Who, reality is very wibbly wobbly. So
right.
it's where, because the logical mind tries to break everything down to make it simplified, it doesn't work that way. But it's fun. Well, don't fear the unknown. Love the mystery.
Oh, Yeah. Well, I'll just going forward into the unknown. Here we go.
Yeah.
Hi ho, Silver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Create your own dream
Here we go.
bubble. And don't allow, like, I'm aware that the global narrative's out there, but I don't interact with it too much. So
you just beam it.
Yeah, I meme the crap out of it because I'm there going poker, poker, poker. Yeah, it's fucking hell. Poker, poker,
Well,
poker. But it's a movie.
Yeah, just to put this down, like I've just been following it too long. I did come to a point with other stuff. It's like, you know what, this isn't working for me. So this is helpful. All of this. I appreciate your insights, Andrew, just to help to put this aside.
I highly recommend you look into the 5 stages of grief and begin practicing.
Oh, I'm going to. It already occurred to me to look it up yesterday. It's like, you know what? I think anger is the first stage. Yeah, denial, then anger. Yeah.
But also have a break, because I've noticed, like, when I was in the information finding section of the conspiracy world, you're in the adrenal thing. You can't go on because it just saps your energy. You need to have a break and, for a week, ignore all this type of stuff.
That's exactly what I'm getting, is that I have spent, my adrenals are pretty exhausted too. So it helps me to calm down, excuse me, helps me to calm down to know that there's not, or the most likely thing is that we're not going to be forced vaccinated, because that's like, I'm not doing that shit. So good. And if we have to drive across the country for a while, actually, you know what? I'm curious, Andrew, like I've read some articles. I know I'm going to question everything even more, but that the planes are doing this like super cleaning thing in between each, passenger group, that it seemed really kind of dangerous and toxic in itself. Like would you get on a plane if you were going to go somewhere?
Yes.
You would?
Yes. Listen, you have been radicalized in such a way. You've been conspiratorialized, even cleaning.
Well,
and remember, you create your own reality.
Right. But I'm just trying to be healthy and clean. Like I eat organic food because I know it's in that shit.
Your perception of healthy and clean is still radicalized. And as you begin ratcheting down your radicalization, you'll realize how obsessive you were with your conspiratorial radicalization of your own ideologies.
Oh, I totally am getting that. Like I really am. Like, this is a giant day. I'm just like a fulcrum day. Like, just I'm shifting here. But I'm still going to eat organic food,
Yeah,
absolutely. But you don't have to worry about the planes being cleaned. You don't need to conspiratorialize that. Listen, airplane companies are cheap motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay.
They're paying a union member to vacuum, okay, and spray some freaking bleach.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if you get on a plane, you're gonna spend 6 hours in the air in a fart tube, like cleaning it. So you've got humans expelling crap.
Well, that's just it. I don't worry about being sick. Maybe I should take COVID more seriously, but I do what I'm supposed to socially or whatever. But
just be aware of it. You don't have to make it the focal point of your existence.
Right.
Yeah. Be aware of it. Don't be the focal point of your existence. By engaging it energetically that way, if you think you could get it, there's a probability that you could get it. But then, of course, it's a time traveling karma resolution thing as well. So hopefully you've done the inner work.
I'm counting on that for this lifetime. And I've spent 30 years keeping my body healthy. So, since I've been a young adult.
And you're 30 years hand and foot above everyone else.
Yeah. And also, one thing, the way I describe it is, apart from people wearing masks, I can't see in my day-to-day life, a pandemic and all this shit is happening. I know it's happening outside of the world, but if I just focus on my house and going to the letterbox and going to the supermarket, it's just people wearing masks. And so it's like, it could be just cold and flu. If you sort of, live in your own dream bubble and be aware of what's happening, but don't try and search for it and get that high, you'll notice that you'll calm down. It's like, there is a pandemic, but I went to the grocery store and nothing happened.
There's still bananas. There's still guavas. There's still all the shit on the shelves.
Netflix is still on.
So are they going to, what about the tracking? Like, that's kind of unnerving to me, the tracking
that's
of people.
that's conspiratorial bullshit. You've been tracked since 1980 with satellites.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I
still,
mean,
okay,
even
it's just a
2000,
thing.
well,
All right.
2005, 2006, everything's being logged. The thing is, no one's looking at it because there's 300 million people in the United States, and all that data's housed in a warehouse in Utah. Unless you do something, there's no reason for anyone to go look for it.
Exactly.
Well, right. So, I mean, and that's, you know what, that's the, oh God, what's your word, Andrew? It's not complicit, tacit consent part
consent.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
That it's like, well, you know, I'm not in tacit consent of like them following me all around. And so your revocations are helpful with that. So I just want to be aware of what's actually going on and not be naive to it. Because I'm real
your need to be
sensitive.
aware is what triggers your conspiratorial radicalization.
It's true.
Yeah.
Hyper awareness is not hyper awareness is still paranoia.
Yeah,
well,
you got to just
I take
relax.
that in.
Yeah, have a day
Just
off.
Relax.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
knit.
just say relax. That's
what is your passion? Do you have a passion? Because that will be a massive distraction from all this shit as well.
Oh, I have a total passion. It's horse training. I've been watching all kinds of horse training videos and horse.
Well, okay. So when you're hanging out with the horses and you're high fiving and hoofing, do you don't think of this stuff at all, are you? Because you're in the zone being training.
Oh yeah,
horses
that's why I love it so much. Yeah,
there you
present
go.
moment.
So
yeah,
remember that feeling when you see some. What is it that that question? How do you say it, Andrew? There's that you don't have, there's questions you don't actually have to. The only reason you ask the question is because you like questions.
Curiosity learning.
That's it. Yeah, it's like, oh, I wonder what this is, instead of actually learning the stuff that you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we've come to the end of the show.
You're
welcome. Thanks for calling. You're a great caller. You had a lot of awesome questions.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for keeping me on so long.
You're welcome.
I feel a lot better. All right, take care.
You helped a lot of people out there. There's gonna be a lot of people that are similar situation as you, and Monty and I could just go head on into it and help you go through the 5 stages of grief.
Yeah. Our work here is done.
Yeah, I'm letting go. It's sloughing off like a old bark right now.
There you go.
All right. Okay.
All right, take it easy.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, Monty, why don't you give a way for people to get a hold of you?
Until I am banned, I am on YouTube, which is Wafer Thin Entertainment, on Twitter at Real Monty Dean, on Instagram as Monty.Dean, and Facebook as Monty Dean. I also have started putting up, I'm on Anchor, starting putting up my roundtables, the audio of it. So I'm actually on Spotify, Apple, and other places. So Anchor FM, that's where you can get my, Planet Collingwood, the roundtable. And later today, you'll be able to see me at a local pizza store buying dinner for my stepdad.
Outstanding. You guys know who I am. You can go to my website, andrewbartzis.com, my Facebook, Andrew Bartzis on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, etc. And guys, we will be back in 2 weeks with our next call-in show and the next comedy show. Reminder, we are now in 2021. Every other week, we do back-to-back Thursday, Friday shows. And then opposite every other week, Tuesdays, I do my show with Martina Grubmuller. So this coming Tuesday, I will be on with Martina, 12 noon Eastern time. All right, everybody, take it easy and have a great weekend.
Have fun.
Each different bubble of reality is true. A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. Nudge, nudge. It's the Holy Grail. Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.
Hello, let's create, let's co-create, and let's change this world with love. No matter if you're from Alpha Centauri or Earth, we all began with the same birthing process. We live in a limited point of view. Living the mystical life daily is about striving for the unlimited point of view. Each day, each human being gets an infinite amount of choices. Living the mystical life daily is about facing obstacles and challenges. The level of awareness that you are working at means you have a responsibility to be equal with it. How does one truly let go of expectation? You can make the moment that you wake up to the moment you go to sleep sacred. The keys to success: choice, 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 and choice.